Welcome to We Geek Podcast. Today is October 31st. Happy Halloween. Episode 153. My name is Adam. I'm joined by my good friend Logan.
Hello.
What up, man? So it's been a few weeks. It's all my fault, so I must apologize. I wasn't feeling too good last week. But man, it's been a busy few weeks. How have you been, dude?
Oh, work, and watching a boatload of Netflix.
Dude, Netflix has been on point this month.
I'm telling you what, man. I just before we started recording, I finished the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina.
Oh, you finished it? I didn't finish it. I'm a few episodes in.
Okay.
So we can talk about it, like general, I guess, and the first few episodes. But I hear it's good. I hear the ending's crazy. I don't know anything about it. I just see people freaking out.
That's fair.
Yeah. So, man, it's got me. That's exactly what I'm going to be doing after this is catching up with Sabrina. Man, I was jumping between Daredevil and Sabrina myself.
Yeah, they're both ridiculously good.
And that's the problem.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah, no.
I get halfway through a series, I'm like, okay, I've binged a lot of this. Let me jump into something else. And I started with The Haunting on Hill House.
Yeah.
And then I got into 6 or 7 episodes, and I'm like, this is so good, but Daredevil's out now. And then I jumped into Daredevil, and I was like, this is so good. And then Chilling Sabrina, and then I went and finished The Haunting of Hill House, watched a little more Daredevil, and then I got into Sabrina. So you can't complain. It's been great.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and I'm sure we'll talk all about that at the end of the episode. I finished The Haunting in Hill's House, so we can go full spoilers. Daredevil, I'll tell you how far I've gotten once we get into that.
Okay.
And Sabrina as well. But I did get to finally go see a movie. I saw Venom.
That took long enough.
I was gonna see Halloween, but then I thought, no, I've been talking about seeing Venom forever, even though I really wanted to see Halloween. Because I hear how good Halloween is. Man, yeah, it was better than I thought it would be. It's not quite on par with the Disney Marvel movies, I thought, but it was a good try.
The way I came away from Venom was I watched this, and by the time I got to the end of it, I thought this should have been a Netflix series.
Oh, totally.
You could take the same story, the same beats, the same everything, and if you made a 10-episode season out of it, out of just what was in that movie, it would have been so much better. What they did was okay, but
well, that was the biggest problem I thought with it. It was just paced funny. You can tell that there's so much they must have cut, because it seems like, one moment. Oh, well, we'll get into it with Venom. One moment he's one way, and the next he's the other, and I'm like, wait a second.
Yeah.
What transpired between then and now?
And there's just so much character development that isn't there that needed to be. That was what bothered me. Was like I saw that and I was like, this is a decent cut of a movie that looks like it looks like there's a better version of this movie that they made. And they just didn't cut it the right way.
Right, I agree. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that they wanted it rated. They didn't want it rated R, and I think that's why a lot was cut.
I think that the stuff they needed to add, though, wouldn't have changed the rating.
No, I agree. I just think that you're absolutely right. There's a lot of scenes where I'm like, there's no spoiler. He's biting people's heads off and stuff, but they just barely show that.
Right.
There's no gore.
Yeah, they found their way around that, which was fine. It still works.
Yeah. And it's and then there's the whole thing holding over with the Spider-Man stuff that it's such a tease. But being that it's its own thing and its own little pocket dimension or whatever, I enjoyed it. I did. It was much better than I thought it would be. It's killing it in the box office. I think I read on one website that it's becoming more profitable than most of the Spider-Man films.
Well,
because of how much it costs to make and how much it's making now in the theater.
That's the thing. It cost a lot less to make. So that's you can look at it that way, or you can look at in terms of what impact is it going to have moving forward.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a good thing. Nevertheless, it's making Sony money, so I could totally see them pushing forward with Venom 2 for sure.
No.
You don't think so?
It's
making more money than the Spider-Man films.
It's making good. It's it's making good money, and the audience reviews have been favorable. But
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll talk more about that at the end
Yeah.
because most of my problems are very spoilery.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, oh man, the dialogue was the biggest like. Remember I was saying in the trailer, I was like, he sounds like an idiot.
Yeah, they didn't really fix that.
No, and don't get me wrong. I know I sound like an idiot a lot, but I'm not an actor. I'm not in a movie. I'm not. These lines are just so fucking cheesy, and the villain. I was just like rolling my eyes at how like it sounded like a villain from a Ninja Turtles movie made in the 90s.
This reminded me. This was a. Huh, this was to the Marvel movies what the. Yeah, and I'll say this, and I'll catch some flack for it. What the Schumacher films were to Batman.
Yeah, it was just super cheeseball and like over
Yeah,
the top,
and
like
I was like, and
all these scientists and just,
I the thing that bothered me the most was when Eddie, his employment was with the network.
yeah.
That was it. That was what they called it. It wasn't. They never gave it an actual name. It was the network, and I was like, that's just wow.
And I
Okay.
hated that they did that. Like his
Uh,
whole setup of his character, when because he does what he does, and then the aftermath of that, and what happens because of what he does, it made me not like him at all.
yeah, that's.
I,
I mean
I'm
that.
like, this guy is a fucking idiot.
Yeah, I'm like he kind of deserves all this. Like
He deserves all of
you don't
this.
feel bad for him, and that's again just that, just his kind of fall from grace, if you'll excuse the Spider-Man 3 pun, was
Yeah.
is something that should have taken an episode of a TV series that would have
Right.
lasted about as long as this film. You know, like that's how you chronicle something like
Yeah.
that. It's just like this. No, the and it would have helped to flesh out the villain, so he wouldn't have seemed like something out of like 70s Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And just I mean he was like I'm evil scientist guy and
And there was no redemption. Like he just the yeah, we'll get into it, I
yeah
guess, because we are really getting to spoilers. I just didn't like how suddenly they were like, okay, well, even though you're crazy, I'm with you. It's like, what?
yeah.
Anyone else would be like, you're on drugs, you need to leave. I don't know. It's just, it was so weird. But yeah, I agree with you. Somewhere in there is a better cut film.
Yeah.
And with all the silly dialogue and stuff aside, it's not as bad as I'm making it out to be. I enjoyed the film for
It's
what it was.
no, it's not a terrible movie. It's just that
Yeah,
because here's the thing, and here's the way I look at this: Spider-Man: Homecoming was a Marvel movie that Sony had some input on.
yeah,
Venom was a Sony movie that Marvel had some input on, and
yeah,
you can very easily see the distinction.
yeah. Exactly. I agree. I agree. And the thing is Venom. It's so sad because Venom would do so well in the Marvel MCU because there was humor in there, and imagine him talking to himself in the presence of like Tony Stark or something like that. It would be hysterical. Like him and Spider-Man. That's what's so just it's so sad about this whole thing is this would have you could tell Disney did had no touch with this.
yeah,
And it sucks they could have done so much by just sprinkling a little bit of that Disney magic into it. And I know that sounds fucking stupid, but I think it really would have worked. And he would work so well in the MCU.
yeah. The character that they created was great. I
Yeah,
liked his version of Eddie Brock and what they did with Venom. Like
yeah.
it does
Like
make sense in their
imagine the Guardians seeing him in action. Rocco would be like, "Well, he's on our team.
yeah.
Like we pick him, because he's like biting people's heads off and
It's
stuff like that would be." But we're
no.
hopefully one day we'll see that. I guess after Homecoming 2 is when they come to the drawing board and talk again.
Yeah, I think so.
So hopefully we get maybe this is just like we wanted him to do his own thing for now, and hopefully maybe in Spider or in Venom 3 we get some mixture with Spider-Man and stuff like that. Um, but yeah, no, we'll talk. We'll get into more spoilers later. I finally saw a movie in the theater again. It's been so long because God, man, Movie Pass has become the worst thing.
Well, it's become so bad that the company that owns it spun it off into its own company. Did you see that?
Oh no, I didn't.
Yeah, I can never remember the name of the parent company, but they spun MoviePass off to its own thing now, so that
Oh
when
no.
it inevitably collapses, which I'm stunned that it still hasn't, it doesn't drag the rest of that company down with it. I think the fact that they had to make all those adjustments with their stock and watch it plummet like 3 or 4 different times, it's just kind of like, okay, this is stupid. Like, this
Yeah.
is enough of this nonsense.
Oh yeah.
But it's gonna be in the toilet. We still have people come into the theater and complain about Movie Pass, and they're like,
Oh, I bet.
we need to know who to talk to, and we're like, talk to Movie Pass, not our thing. Well, but it's at your theater, yeah, but it's not our service. We've got our own service. It works. Would you like to know about it? like,
Right.
I'm sorry, but like Movie Pass when it worked was great, but ever since they started changing things, like it just tanked. And
Yeah.
I'm stunned that they're even still a business, because most people who come in and I imagine you saw this too, you pulled it up and you're like, what movie do you want to see? And it's just like, none. You can't
And
see any movies ever
the
at
only
all.
movie you can see is Invisible
Yeah.
for the past week or however long. And what's funny is it will show Halloween and it'll say this premium screening is not supported. It'll show Venom, which been out for weeks. This premium screening is not supported, and it'll be like 10 in the morning
Yeah.
on a Tuesday. It's
Yeah.
like this is so sad. So yeah, I'm gonna hit up that AMC probably really soon, so I can finally start going to see movies again and not have to worry about it. And what is it, 3 week? Like that's that's great.
Yeah. Especially like right now, because there's not a ton out at the moment.
Oh, there's a
Um,
ton I want to see though. I mean,
but
the
that's the thing.
First
Like,
Man.
yeah.
What's this? The one with the singing? The what's her face? Lady Gaga and
Oh, A Star Is Born. Yeah.
Bradley Cooper. A Star Is Born. I want to see Halloween. There's 3 movies right now that I want to see.
There you go. But then, like,
And
but I mean, like, on the horizon, like, there's not,
that's true.
but jump ahead a little bit. I mean, the Nutcracker in the Four Realms, or as I like to call it, Alice in Wonderland 3,
Yeah.
because let's be honest, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Um,
Aquaman.
yeah, but yeah, down the line, sure, Aquaman,
Wait.
even Mary Poppins. I think Mary Poppins is gonna be interesting,
Yeah. Mary Poppins.
and Bumblebee. Like, I mean, I'm
Bumblebee.
willing to give it a shot.
Oh yeah, Bumblebee for sure.
Just
When it was announced and everything, I was like, nope. But it looks actually pretty good.
It does. I'll give it that. Like, I've come around to it where instead
Yeah.
of hating the idea outright, I'm like, you know what? Let's see. If it's good, then all right, I'm happy. If
Yeah.
not, then I told you so. But
Yeah. Yeah. I want to see mid-90s as
yeah, that
well.
looks interesting. That really does. From Jonah
Yeah.
Hill, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to see that. But
Bohemian
um,
Rhapsody comes out this week. I want to see that. Like,
yeah.
the reviews have been meh, but I don't care. I still want to see it.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. But I'll be getting that shortly. I was like, I need to see Venom before it leaves the theaters because I just gotta.
Yeah.
But and the next one I do want to see is Halloween in the next week or so.
You should go, man. It's really good.
Yeah.
It is. Man, okay, so this is a movie that I'm glad that I made it a point to go see.
Mhm.
Um, and I went and saw it on a Friday, which was a horrible idea, and it reminded me of why I only go to movies at like 11 Monday morning.
Mhm.
Crowd was just terrible. Like, we had one girl who every time she screamed, like anytime something happened on screen, she screamed like she was in the movie.
Oh wow.
It was an over the top theatrical kind of scream, but you could tell that was her actual, like, that was just her actual scream. But like the first time it happened, for like the first scare in the movie, everybody kind of laughed it off, and it was just like, okay, that was a thing that happened, all right. And then by the fourth time it happened, we were just like, all right, we're gonna throw you off the side here, like, you're
Yeah.
done, go away. But between that and the people coughing, and there were people down front who were like, "We're in our living room, so what do you think about this, Bob?" Well, I don't know. You see, I don't particularly like the set design because I think it's just, well, I don't like the lighting down here. Well, that's because you're sitting all the way at the end and you have to shout for us to hear you. Oh, if I'd had my broom, I'd have beat these people, I swear.
Wow.
Oh, it's just awful. But, yeah, the experience was terrible, but the movie was fantastic. But we had somebody, there was somebody, I was sitting tearing tickets the other night, and somebody came out of Halloween and turned around, and I am used by now to people walking out of movies and talking about them, and I've had the ending for A Star is Born ruined for me.
Oh.
Just because that's part of it, that's,
Yeah.
it happens. But there was this group of like 4 or 5 people who were arguing about Halloween, and this one woman turned around and put her hand down on the podium and looked at me and told me how it ended, and that's why I should wait for the next one. Now, I'd
Wow.
already seen it by that point, and I looked her dead in the eye, and and I just said, well, okay, I hadn't seen this one yet, and I was really excited for it, so thank you for ruining that movie for me.
Wow.
And
What did she say?
her face got real pale, and everybody just kind of standing around looked at her like, wow, you're an awful person.
Yeah, like
And
what
then
what goes through people's heads?
they assume, and I hear this all the time. They assume we have already seen all of the movies before they come out because they don't know that that's not a thing. Yes, we can come in and see them when we're not scheduled and we don't have to pay for the ticket. That's it. That is our benefit. That's all we got. But we don't get to see them early. I don't understand why people are like, well, you guys probably saw this like a week ago. That's not how this works. That's not how
Yeah.
movies work, and it makes me crazy because people will just walk up and start talking, and I sometimes have to throw my hands up like, whoa, 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 whoa! I haven't seen this.
Maybe
Oh
you
my,
guys should. What if you put up signs that
I
said employees have not seen the film, please do not spoil it?
I for like big movies, I'm gonna start doing that for myself. Like I'm going to bring 2 sheets of paper and I'm gonna
Yeah.
like paper clip them one to the front of my shirt and one to the back that just
Yeah.
say, "No, I haven't seen any of these movies. Don't talk to me." Like
Yeah, for real. I
like I'm
mean
serious. It
that
makes me nuts.
that's crazy. That would make me so mad.
It does. And so when this woman did that, and then I told her that like she and like the group she was with kind of walked away, and there was this
Yeah.
other couple that came by and they were like, "Wow, we're really sorry that happened. You haven't seen it yet?" And I was like, "Can you believe that she just did that?" They're like, "No, that's crazy, and we're really sorry. It's a really good movie. We wish you'd have been able to see it." I said, "I saw it a week ago, but that's not the point." And they
Yeah.
were just because it's been out like 2 weeks now or whatever. I saw it
Yeah.
because I saw it the Friday it came out, which, like I said, was a mistake. But I
Yeah.
but I made it a point. I was like, I want to see this. I'm gonna go see this movie.
Well, that seems like a movie you do want to see with a ton of people.
I I hate going to the theater to see horror movies just because I hate crowds in horror movies. I always
Oh, see,
have.
we're like the complete opposite.
I know you, and I and
Yeah.
I and I understand your point of view. I absolutely
Yeah.
do, and it's just not me.
Yeah.
Like, but I got something out of seeing when other people got scared and catching other people's reactions. But God, people with horror movies just ruin it for me
Yeah.
because there's always the assholes who
Yeah.
will break the tension doing the stupidest crap. With comedies, I'm okay with. I'll go to a comedy with a crowd. I don't mind.
Right. Right.
Um,
No, I
but
agree with you. If there's someone there, you're playing Russian roulette. If there's someone there
yeah.
that is an asshole and kind of ruins the suspense or whatever, then yes, it's ruined.
Yeah. Best
Uh,
best gamble I ever made was I went to see it was like a Tuesday morning showing here at the theater here for A Quiet Place. And that was the one where there was nobody there and they hadn't even turned the lights on.
oh
Like
wow.
nothing. Pitch black, just
Yeah.
me and the movie. And I was like, I don't know if they just forgot to turn them on maybe.
Right.
But I'm not gonna say anything because I've got my phone flashlight out. Like I can find the stairs. I'm good. I don't care. Like
Yeah.
it's worth it to be like, oh, what if you fall? Well, then I wasn't watching where I was going. Like my own fault. I don't care. I'm here for this movie. All the lights are pitch black. I was like, this is perfect. It's a lawsuit waiting to happen, but it's perfect. I don't care. Like
Yeah.
But that's how it is sometimes. But you know, I don't know. Like I said, like I'll do comedies with crowds, or sometimes Marvel movies. I love like the week after a Marvel movie comes out, and I've got to go clean one. Like I'll go in at just random times and see like, oh wait, I remember where they are here. I need to stick my head in and see the crowd reaction. Like
Yeah.
that was the best part of Infinity War, was after I had seen it, then going in and standing there for like the last 10 minutes and just hearing, 200 people just lose it. It
Oh
was
wow.
oh, it was amazing. It was so worth it, and just hearing people just freaking out and seeing people cry, and I was like, this is it's horrible and it's awful, but it's awesome at the same time.
Oh yeah. That's cool, man. Oh yeah. Yeah, I need it's yeah, man, it was cool going back to the theater. I haven't been there in so long, and I can still like it's funny not having all that butter on the popcorn for months and
Yeah,
then doing it again. It's a shock to the system.
it is. It really is.
Yeah, like the amount of sugar in the Coke and the popcorn, the butter. It's just I'm still tasting it right now, even though I brushed my teeth a bazillion times since then and used mouthwash. It's still there, the kernels and whatnot. You can still taste it.
Yeah, it sticks with you. It does. But
Yeah.
that's the price of gold in the movies.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So how'd Halloween do this weekend?
Halloween was number one again this week. About 31.5 million,
Oh wow.
which was what it was about what it was projected to do its opening weekend
Hmm.
originally, before
Yeah.
it decided to come along and say, I think we're gonna do like 80.
Yeah.
That sounds better to us.
Yeah.
That was insane. They were saying it could have shot as high as 100 its opening weekend, because they weren't the social media buzz skyrocketed, and they just kind of went,
Yeah.
uh, we don't know what to project. So,
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of people went
uh,
and saw it, and they were like, "Hey, this is one of the best movies we've seen all year."
it's so good. It's seriously
Yeah.
good. It's a good horror movie, and it's a really good Halloween movie. Like
Yeah.
they did all of it justice. Hats off to Danny McBride and his whole team on that. Like, it was great.
So crazy
I
that
know.
he's the ones doing it.
I
It's
know,
funny.
right?
Jonah Hill, Danny McBride, like all these people now that were just in these crazy, wacky comedies, 5, 10 years ago or whatever, is now doing all this.
It's so weird to see the cast of what was it? This is the end.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, now all of a sudden they're like, oh man, they're doing like serious, excellent movies. What the hell?
Yeah, like there might be some awards for these films. Yeah.
But no,
So,
God, Carpenter's score. Like, I
yeah.
forgot what a master he is at scoring a movie.
Hmm.
It's so good. It's so damn good.
Yeah,
Um,
so yeah, I'll be seeing that sometime this week, I think. It's just gonna be busy, busy, busy. But yeah.
uh, A Star Is Born was number two again. 14 million. It's made itself a tidy little sum, almost up to 150.
Oh yeah.
And with Academy Award just written all over it.
Oh yeah. Have you seen that cut of Lady Gaga at every interview
No.
saying, in a group of 100 people, all you need is that one person uh, to believe in you. And like, there's a YouTube clip I saw it on Instagram actually, but and it's just like it's like 10 interviews, and it's just the same exact quote over and over and over and
Well,
over.
and here's the thing, press junkets like that, they stick you in a room.
Yeah,
When you're promoting a film, you sit in a room and they just bring the interviewers into you. And
it's just funny.
you can only, there's only so many answers you can give to the same exact questions.
Yeah,
And Tom Hanks thought about like having a yellow card, red card system.
yeah,
He joked about this once, where like if an interviewer comes in and just asks like a dumb question, there's the baseline questions you have to have
yeah,
for every publication, but then they're like, and we're going to bring our own. And if it's a really bad question, he was just going to give him a yellow card.
yeah.
And if you asked another bad question, he was going to give you a red card, and that's the end of the interview. I
Right,
was like, I think
exactly.
that's brilliant. I think it's
Oh
absolutely
yeah,
genius.
yeah, yeah, for sure, man. Uh, I just thought it was funny, but I hear the movie's real good.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I've been hearing. Uh, Venom, about a little more than 10 more million, puts it up about 187. It'll make Well, I say this. It may make 200 domestic before the end of its run.
Hmm.
It's going to be close because it's going to drop pretty hard this week.
Yeah,
Um, but I don't know. It might, depending on how much longer it stays, it might make 200. Um,
yeah.
which they're going to see as a huge success, and it is. I don't have the worldwide total in front of me, but I imagine it's crazy. Um, but good for them. I'm glad it did well. Um,
Yeah.
but you know, uh, fourth surprisingly was Goosebumps 2.
Goosebumps.
I yeah, okay, whatever.
I told you, kids love that.
Yeah, 7 million puts it. It's flirting with 40 domestic altogether. So go for it.
Hmm.
The only new release in the top 5 this week was Hunter Killer. The
It sounds so generic.
I,
Is that
yeah,
a PlayStation 2 game?
it's probably, to be honest with you. God.
Like, is that going to be on the PlayStation 1 Classic?
No, nothing's gonna be on the PlayStation 1 Classic.
Oh man, what
That
are they?
man, I didn't even bother to put that list in because it's sad.
It is. There's some cool ones in there, like obviously Metal Gear and stuff like that. But man, what a bunch of
The library they
BS.
had, and they were like, you know what everybody on the planet who wants this system wants? Cool Borders 2.
Don't talk crap about Cool Borders 2 because there's about 6 other games that you could put that are worse than Cool Borders 2.
I would have rather had 2 Extreme Sports than Cool Borders. I'm
Oh
sorry.
no. See, Cool Borders, that's one of the games I do remember from the original PlayStation. We played for hours.
Oh yeah.
But Destruction Derby, Intelligent Cube, Jumping Flash, come on.
Man, I'll tell you what, you mock Destruction Derby at your own peril here. Like
Yeah. I mean, Mr. Driller, come on.
that one I'll give you. Like I was like, yeah. And Intelligence Cube I thought was a weird pull. Like
Yeah, it just doesn't.
that was so strange. It was like, God, nobody remembers that.
No, no. I
Like
mean,
at all.
granted, they got Final Fantasy VII, Metal Gear Solid, Tekken 3, Twisted Metal, Wild Arms, Rainbow Six, Resident Evil. They have some gold on there.
Yeah, but there was one. There's one on this list that I called at the beginning, and you laughed at me.
Which one?
You laughed at me because I said if they don't have Battle Arena Toshinden on this, I am done with them. And
Ah,
they
gotcha.
do. And that was a total just like, there's no way they're going to put this on here because it was not a great fighting game. But I guess because they made up for it with Tekken 3.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Rayman, sure. Oddworld, sure. Resident
Yeah.
Evil Director's Cut, I get. Ridge Racer Type 4, I guess if you've got to pick one, okay. I probably
Yeah.
would have gone classic. The one that bothers me that's really not on here. Like you could get rid of Mr. Driller because I don't care. Give where I love that the original Grand Theft Auto is on here for no reason. Because I mean,
Well,
they're
well,
not.
Grand Theft Auto I could see.
Yeah, but I
Well,
mean,
why wouldn't you have Grand Theft Auto or at least Grand Theft Auto 2?
I mean, because the originals were not like. I mean, they're fun and all, but
Grand Theft Auto 2 was great.
I'll give you that. That one was definitely better for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
I would have loved to have seen Gex on this list. Like, I mean, that was a launch title, and they ran with that for a while, man. And I just that one bums me out.
Why is Parappa the Rapper not on here?
That one, yeah, that's another one, dude.
Like
That's
what?
Do we really, put that one in instead of Intelligence Cube? Give me Gex instead of Mr. Driller, and I don't like the rest of these. I don't mind so much.
Yeah, I mean, instead of Grand Theft Auto, they really should put the Grand Theft Auto London because that was the one I remember from the original.
Yes.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
it just doesn't. A lot of these just don't make any sense. And where's Tomb Raider?
That one that's another one. That's a big one of just like, wow, okay, what
What?
what was the rights issue here for that?
Yeah, it's just. But those are some of the, like when you think PlayStation, that's what you think, right?
Yeah, because Crash was a rights issue.
Yeah.
That's why there's no Crash on there.
Right.
Which is a bummer.
It
But
just, yeah,
yeah,
yeah, it's crazy. I don't know. The PlayStation 2 one I think will be way more interesting.
God, they can't do a PS2 one.
Of course they're gonna do a PS2
I
one.
know, but the PS2 has the biggest and best video game library ever. Like,
Yeah.
unless that thing drops with like 200 titles, nobody's gonna be happy at all.
Well, maybe next week let's put together. Well, I'll do a top 10 and you do a 10 fantasy PlayStation 2 list.
I'll tell you what, let's do 20. They wanted to do 20
Okay.
for the PlayStation Classic, so
Yeah,
let's do 20.
we'll do 20. And we'll put on there our dream list, and then maybe we'll edit just a little bit and be like, what's realistic?
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of dream ones I would love on the SNES one, but they were never gonna put Lion King or Aladdin or something like that on there.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so yeah, I mean all three Grand Theft Autos are gonna be on that.
Yeah, right, no kidding.
But yeah, there's just so many on PlayStation 2. I don't even know where to start with that.
Start with Final Fantasy X.
Yeah, Final Fantasy 10 and 12.
And yeah, I guess I don't like 12.
Yeah,
I know like everybody else does, but I'm the weird one. I'm like I don't need 12. I'm good without it. But
yeah,
a bunch of people love it. Good for them. I'm happy for them. I'm not gonna fight them. Like
yeah. Oh
it
wait,
just.
what am I thinking? Wait, am I thinking the wrong one? 10 is the one I was thinking, I guess.
Were you thinking of 10 and 10-2, maybe?
No, I was
No.
thinking of 10.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know why I said 12.
Well, 12. I mean, 12's another one that a lot of people really loved.
A
So
lot of people do, yeah.
yeah,
But yeah, you're right. Final Fantasy X has to be on PlayStation 2 list.
yeah. I can't really think of any more off the top of my head. I'd have to look just because it's been so long.
Yeah. I
But
mean,
there's
some Metal Gear games on there.
yeah, you'd have to get 2 on there.
Yeah.
Or 3. Yeah.
Yeah, you could do both.
People would probably rather have 3 than 2 if you made them pick.
Yeah.
What else?
What was that racing game?
That's where I was headed next.
Is it Midnight Club too? That's what I'd put on there, but
Might have
I
been.
don't know
I'd
if
rather
that's
have
cool
Need
or
for
not.
Speed Underground. Maybe Underground 2.
Yeah.
I could go either one of those.
Put some Persona 4 on there. Hey, they got Persona on this one, which is odd.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah.
But, their console.
Yep.
Yeah, there's so many. And I mean, that's just, without even scratching the surface.
What was the samurai game?
Oh, wait, which one? The realistic one or the Capcom one?
Oh man, it was the one where you were like, you were in a village. Oh, what is
Was
it called?
it?
I think it was just called Samurai. Something Samurai.
Oh, I can't help you there, because it was either Bushido Blade or Onimusha are the ones that I'm thinking of.
Not Onimusha.
I think Onimusha should be on a PS2 Classic, though.
Oh man, this is really gonna bother me. Is it Way of the Samurai?
That might be what you're thinking of.
It might be Way of the Samurai. I need to. Yeah, it is Way of the Samurai. Man, that was a good game.
Yeah.
But I think you're right. The other ones are ones that are more popular.
Yeah, if you're gonna go that way, I think you gotta go Onimusha.
Yeah. Way of the Samurai was so cool because oh man, it was so awesome. But anyway, yeah, well we'll do that next week. We'll just come up with the list. We'll do 20 of them, because that's gonna be fun. Because I don't think I'm gonna get this. Like it's what $130.
100, just 100.
$100, yeah.
But still, like it's not, it's not worth it.
I'm kind of over all these little consoles next to the TV.
And here's the thing: it's one thing when it's Nintendo because you can't buy the old games anymore, but like for Sony, it's just like,
If you have a Vita, you can get all these games right now.
Exactly. There you go.
Yeah, go buy a Vita because they're gonna stop. They stopped making them, so go get a Vita. If you want these, and it's on the go, and if you somehow get an OLED screen, there you go, perfect.
Right.
But yeah. So anyway, back to what movies are coming out next week.
Nobody's Fool, which is Tiffany Haddish and somebody. I saw the poster for it. I know nothing about it. I've never heard of it.
Okay.
The Nutcracker in the Four Realms we talked about, and Bohemian
Yep.
Rhapsody we talked about, which I'm not sure if I'm not sure what's going to be number one. It may be the Nutcracker,
Yeah, that's what
but
I'm thinking.
however it shakes out, Bohemian Rhapsody is going to be higher next week than the
Yeah,
Nutcracker.
probably.
Nutcracker is going to fall off a lot more than Bohemian Rhapsody.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I agree. What movie news we got this week?
Well, they bumped Wonder Woman like 7 months, 8 months, whatever it was,
Wow.
to June 5th, 2020, which I'm fine with. This should have been a summer movie from the word go.
What DC movies are next year?
Shazam?
That's
Maybe?
it?
Yeah, because they moved the Flash to 2021.
Holy cow.
Yeah, that's because DC, man, just stop. DC just needs to quit while they're behind. Um,
Wow, 2021. At least with the Disney ones, it was like 2 or 3 a year, like boom, boom, boom. Let's make it or
yeah,
break it. But now it's like one movie a year.
yeah, and it doesn't I don't know.
There's no hype. There's no hype behind it.
Well, we don't know anything about it. I don't even remember if it has a production crew yet.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Because I know that was a problem. Like they played musical chairs with
Yeah.
directors forever. Um,
Damn.
but because I know, I think Shazam is next year, and even
Yeah.
then, maybe don't quote me on that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. No, isn't no? Yeah. No, I don't know. Are they trying to get Birds of Prey next year, or is that 2020 also?
I'm not
See,
sure.
I can't remember because again they keep switching. It's like Fox with the X-Men movies. It's like
Yeah.
I never remember when they're coming out because they change it every couple of months.
Hmm. Okay.
So yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. I guess they're counting on DC Universe to be really big for the next 2 years.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Well, we'll see. We got some Avengers 4 news?
Yeah, Catherine Langford, who was the lead in 13 Reasons Why, has been cast in Avengers 4.
Yeah.
We don't know as who or why, but I would imagine it's probably got something to do with the flashback scenes that we know that they're doing. Like this is not spoilery, but
You think it's a flashback?
I think so. I don't think she's a new character. I think she's the young version of somebody. I don't
You know
know.
what the rumor is?
I don't know if I want to know.
Okay. Then
Yeah,
no,
I've
I
I've
won't say.
actually yeah I've actually tried to stay away from anything that's been the spoileriest thing that I've seen was they were talking about the title might be Avengers Assemble,
Yeah, I
and
could see that.
that was months ago, and that's gonna be weird overseas because that's what the first Avengers was sold as overseas.
Avengers Assemble again overseas. Well, I mean, they would just change the title for the overseas one if
Yeah,
they already used it.
but
I always love seeing what Japan comes up with. Yeah.
yeah, sometimes they're pretty magical.
Yeah. Yeah. But well, yeah, I won't spoil anything. I'm excited though.
Yeah,
Uh,
I'm just trying to stay away from it as long as I can. I know eventually it'll all I'll see it by accident or something eventually, but
yeah.
I'm trying to hold out. They're saying there's going to be a trailer by the end of the year, which makes sense. Um, I was always thinking Mary Poppins or something along around that time would have a trailer.
Yeah.
I I'm surprised that it's not going to be with the Nutcracker because I
Hmm.
think given that that's kind of the big fantasy action kids movie Disney's doing, I would have gone with that. But
Yeah.
whatever.
Oh yeah. Man, I'm excited. I can't wait because that trailer for the first one was so good.
It was spot on what they needed it to be.
It was so good. There's a few trailers every once in a while I'll go back and watch and get chills. That's one of them. The Last Jedi is another one that I get just chills from.
Yeah.
Force Awakens.
And Man of Steel to me still has one of the best in a long time.
Man of Steel is definitely one of the best.
It's such like that trailer was better than the movie.
It's I say that I agree 100%. I say that all the time on Facebook groups. So I'm like,
Yeah.
man, that trailer was just. I was so excited for that film because of the trailer, because it was like they nailed the Americana, they nailed just everything about that character in that trailer, and then
Yeah. And then, we got the movie.
fucking crash landed.
Yeah.
Dude, couldn't nail the landing. but yeah, I agree 100%. But yeah, man. So that's exciting. So Avengers 4. So, man, there's a second season to 13 Reasons Why, right?
Yeah, and I'm never gonna watch it because I don't as far as I'm concerned, the story ended with the first season.
I never really watched, or I shouldn't say watch, because I did watch. I watched like 90%, but I didn't see the ending.
It's rough.
Just life happened, and I just got involved with
Yeah.
other stuff and never went back to it. But yeah, it's super popular on Netflix. We got some Star Wars news this week.
Yeah, the Boba Fett movie is officially dead, which bummer. I'm not terribly shaken up by it. Because I think
Apparently they're putting all their time and energy with instead of the Boba Fett, they've shifted it towards the series.
that's why I'm not too bummed about it. It's like, hey, they're giving us that, but as a TV show and with somebody who's not Boba Fett.
Right.
But
I think Boba Fett will probably be tied into it because of all that shenanigans. Which should be cool, I think. Even if he's not, even if he's never in the show, I'm still gonna be fucking happy we're getting it.
Well, I mean, the dude has his rifle for one thing.
Exactly. Yeah, I think it's all tied into Boba Fett, which is awesome. It'll be like a little trickled in, and then like a big surprise. Or maybe the mystery is surrounding Boba Fett or something. Who knows? But yeah, man, I'm excited. We kind of knew this coming out. What happened with Solo and everything. They said they were gonna, take a moment and and gather up and see what they were gonna do, and that was one of the things that was cut. So
yeah, I'm good. It's like what you said. Just give me Star Wars every Christmas.
Yeah, every Christmas.
That's enough.
I'm missing it this year. I'm bummed out. I have nothing to look forward to at the end of this year.
The box office this Christmas is going to be so weird.
Yeah.
Like I don't, because between Bumblebee and Aquaman and Mary Poppins, I don't know what the hell is going to happen.
No, doesn't it feel like there's a hole now?
It does, because it's like there's no giant tentpole film. Even Aquaman, it's going to be the big winner, but it's not going to be massive.
Maybe they're playing the long game.
And
maybe they're saying, let's not give it to them this year so they want it more.
Well, I think they had Solo this year and had it should have come out for Christmas. Like
it should have. There would have been way more excitement for it, I think.
Yeah, and they would have had time to polish it a little more. I mean, I liked it. I liked
Solo.
I liked the product we got, but I think there were definitely some improvements and some polishings and maybe even some reshoots they could have done. And given the 6-7 months, when the hell did Solo come out? May. Like the extra handful of months of polish to have it out by Christmas, I think would have been fine.
I agree.
But then Disney would have been competing with itself with Mary Poppins, so I'm just like, it's fair enough.
Yeah.
But it is what it is.
I see they're gonna make Hollywood is gonna make an Attack on Titan film, because we already have one.
Yeah, there was a Japanese one that was done in 2 parts.
Yeah.
And it actually made decent money.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're gonna get a Hollywood made live action Attack on Titan.
Don't know how that's gonna play here.
I don't know. I'll tell you what though, man. My Hero Academia did crazy good.
But that I could see as a live-action Hollywood film that would do amazingly in the United States.
Well, and I think with Andy Muschietti directing it, I mean, he did a great job with it. And I don't know. I think that Attack on Titan is a license to do really horrifying-looking giant creatures.
Right.
And that's, I mean, I get it, they're people, but they just look wrong. And that in itself is simple and disturbing as hell.
Yeah.
and I think you could really run with that.
I guess what I'm thinking is the hmm, how do I put this?
How do we not get another Death Note is a good question.
Well, there's what is it called? Shonen, which is like more because there's two different kinds of manga, right?
Yeah, it's
There's
shown, and then there's something else I can't remember.
right, and shonen is more of the boys side, right?
Right.
Where it has the superheroes and it's basically Dragon Ball Z, Naruto, My Hero Academy or Academa. I'm just butchering so many words tonight, but anyway, um, those to me I think would do better because we've only gotten really what Dragon Ball Z is a live action in the theater Hollywood production. We got the one Netflix one, but I think My Hero Academia would do much better in the United States than.
It's an easier concept to sell.
Oh yeah.
And
I mean,
that's
it's superheroes.
yeah, exactly. Like it's
The guy
superhero
was
school.
obsessed with Marvel, and it's very much Dragon Ball Z at times. Um, and to me, I could totally see an American audience, especially kids, going to the theater for that. But but this Attack on Titan is so I don't know, it's so different that I'm man, I don't know if it's gonna do good as a live action Hollywood film.
Agreed. Agreed.
Yeah,
Especially the farther it gets, man, cuz
yeah,
once you start in on the backstory of everything, it's just weird.
yeah. I've only
It's
seen the first season, so
it's super weird. Like
it's like I'm good.
I read up on the history of everything, and I'm like, yeah, it's just man, it's bizarre as hell. I
Yeah,
mean, it's when you look at it in the context of like, oh, that's right, it came from manga,
yeah,
and you're like, yeah, obviously it's weird and bizarre because it always is.
yeah,
But that's what I'm saying. Like, if you were to try to pitch the concept the whole way through
yeah.
to a Western audience, it wouldn't work. It's
No.
oh, it's strange.
I still think Dragon Ball could totally work. They just need to just make it a straight up animated film for the United States. They could do CGI or whatever, but a live action, I don't know. I don't know how you would do a live action Dragon Ball. That has obviously the most crossover appeal because that is by far, in a way, the most popular besides Pokemon, I guess. But Pokemon didn't start. It started as a video game, right? So,
Yeah,
but Dragon Ball actually started as a manga, right? So that that to me is probably the most popular. And right behind it, man, I'm telling you that My Hero Academia, I'm on season 2 now. I've just gotten caught up with Daredevil and everything else, so I've kind of fallen off. But I want to go back. It is really really good. It's reminding me of Dragon Ball, and I could totally see that being brought to the United States.
yeah,
Um,
and it's a concept that a Western audience can accept. It
Such an easy concept,
yeah,
yeah. But uh, and they keep talking about live action movies, man. I would like live action TV shows of this. Like,
I
screw the live action movies. Give me live action TV shows of this.
I guess I guess they're thinking budget. It's easier to throw a
Yeah,
budget behind a movie than it is a TV show.
that's true. It's just you're it's all squished together, and you're like, wait a second. There's at least 63 episodes between the time Gohan goes from that city to that city.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
maybe that's not a good thing either.
man, I've been enjoying All Systems Goku. I don't know if have you listened to it at
I
all?
still haven't, no.
They do a great job just describing everything in the episode, so you don't have to watch a single episode. And they do such a great job explaining everything that's going on. And what's so great is they always refer to wrestling terms.
Yeah, you told me that.
Yeah, it's always a gimmick, and it's there's no cells, and now especially with Mr. Satan in Dragon Ball, he's straight up Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's so funny hearing Jeff and Dan go back and forth, and it's just constantly referring to wrestling. But man, it's a really great. It's probably by far my favorite podcast to listen to, besides ours, of course. But yeah, it's good. It's good. It's good. But anyway, sorry to get so sidetracked there. Attack on Titan, expected in the theaters soon. We got some Pinocchio news?
Yeah, so Guillermo del Toro is going to co-direct a stop-motion version of Pinocchio for Netflix.
Okay.
And he's going to be co-directing with Mark Gustafson, who did Fantastic Mr. Fox.
Okay.
Del Toro will also co-write the script with Patrick McHale from Adventure Time.
Oh.
So this just has weird written all over it, but in a good way.
Yeah. Creative.
Yeah, creative weird.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds great. I'm in.
Not just, bizarre weird like our next piece of news.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, Rhett Reese and Paul Wernick, who wrote Deadpool, are being courted by Disney, which is a bizarre sentence by itself, to reboot a franchise, which gets even weirder, and then you realize they want the guys who did Deadpool to do Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
I mean, I'm totally done with Pirates of the Caribbean. There's probably 3 or 4 of them I haven't seen.
Yeah.
But when you say Deadpool writers, okay.
I mean, here's the thing. This is a billion-dollar movie franchise based on a ride.
Yeah.
So weird is already out the window.
Right.
Like, this shouldn't have worked to begin with, but it did. So, Mazel Tov, go do your thing,
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Oh.
By the way, speaking of, Legendary happened to have been listening to you and said, we should produce a live action My Hero Academia movie.
Yeah. Yeah. See, that to me is going to be good.
That makes sense. Like we talked about, like, that makes sense. That will work. That'll totally work.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We got a Tom and Jerry film.
I hate almost every piece of this news. The only piece of news about this that I like is that they are not going to voice Tom and Jerry.
Mm-hmm.
Just like in the cartoons, they're not going to talk.
Yeah.
This is going to be a live-action CGI hybrid film, much in the vein of, like, Garfield or any Looney Tunes movie,
Mm-hmm.
And it will be directed by Tim Story. If that name rings any bells, he was also the guy who did Rise of the Silver Surfer, which, as we all know, was the best of the Fantastic Four movies. In a shocking turn of events, I would argue it's actually not the worst, which is saying something. But,
yep.
yeah, I hate all that news, pretty much. I really, I'm just like, why? Just do cartoons. Just let Tom and Jerry stay cartoons. Don't. Amen. I mean, the thing is, we talk about this, and I have a reaction to this, and then it gets made, and nobody goes to see it, and everybody forgets about it, and it's like it never happened. Because that's how these things work. They always work that way.
In the next few years, there's going to be a ton of these. There's going to be Sonic, there's going to be Pokemon, there's going to be Tom and Jerry. I mean, I don't think Max Landis is still on that project anymore, but I know he was talking about Pepe Le Pew?
Yeah, which is a little too on the nose anymore.
Yeah. And so I don't know. There's going to be a ton of these films coming out in the next few years. The hybrids.
There's a Speedy Gonzalez one.
A Speedy Gonzalez, there you go.
So, I mean, that's the thing. That's the new wave of, like, how do we make this how do we bring these animated characters to life that aren't in cartoons or, like, really bad, like, the Cat in the Hat style live action?
Oh, God.
Because that looked horrible. And that's why there are no more live action Dr. Seuss movies, because the estate just I'm sorry, they had kittens over what Mike Myers did to that character. And he
hasn't been seen since.
Oh, the Love Guru. He was the Love Guru after the Cat in the Hat.
Like I said, he's never been seen since.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very fair. That's very fair. It's about time for him to start having a renaissance, though. I think
really should.
Mike could do it. It's been time. Like, it's
Bring
been long
Austin
enough.
Powers back.
No.
Yes, it's the best climate to do Austin Powers.
I don't know.
It would so work, I think. It would, because it would be so over the top, and everyone would be correcting him. I think it'd be great.
I think that's why it doesn't work. I think it just becomes
It does work.
because you get too many of those jokes and just like, yeah, this, no, man, here's all these things you do wrong. Like, but back in the 60s, baby, yeah, that was, that was almost 60. By the time that movie gets made, it'll have been 60 years ago.
That's what
So,
I mean.
I
Yeah, I
know,
don't know. I could
man.
see them doing that.
Yeah,
Now, it working or not, I don't know, but I could totally see them writing that.
well, I mean, here's the thing. Right now, there's a third Johnny English movie. Who the hell asked for that?
Johnny English.
Remember when Mr. Bean did Austin Powers?
Okay.
Yeah, they
Oh,
made two of
Mr.
them.
Bean.
Yeah, and they've made a third, and it's like, oh my god, it's was it Johnny English Reborn, or was that the second? I can't even remember. But it's like, yeah, there's a third one, and
Johnny English Strikes Back Again.
that's it. Yeah, that's it. I'm serious. It really is like that. But I was just, the first time I saw anything about this or heard anything about this was when they were putting the poster up in the lobby.
Yeah.
And I looked at this, and my exact response was, who in the hell did this without my permission? Like, who? Like,
Yeah.
you've got to be kidding. It's Johnny English Strikes Again.
What are the reviews?
It honestly is probably not good. Because they weren't, like, the first one was fine. It was like, hey, this is a slightly more serious Austin Powers. It's not very serious, but it's not quite as zany as Austin Powers.
It's got a 91 on Rotten Tomatoes.
The third one or
the third one?
Holy shit.
I'm just kidding. It's got a 30.
It's got a 33 on Rotten Tomatoes. Don't do that to me. Do not do that to
Wouldn't
me.
that have been like Bizarro?
Well, I'll tell you what though. It's got a 65 audience score, which is not terrible.
Yeah, that adds up.
That I can understand. But I looked at that and I was like, who in the hell made this without my permission? Why?
Well, I mean,
Why?
Adam Sandler has a series out called 100% Fresh. And guess what score it has, though?
0% fresh.
92 critic, 91 audience.
Yeah, well, people still want to like Adam Sandler.
I tried. I was hanging out with a friend. She really likes Adam Sandler, so I was like, okay, let's watch it. She was bored, immediately started working, and I was just like, he's singing and saying the same 3 words over and over again.
Yeah.
I just
that's kind of been his entire career.
It's been his entire career, and for some reason, people love it.
Yeah.
I just couldn't stand
Although,
it.
to be fair to Johnny English, though, the first movie has the exact same numbers almost on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
And the first Johnny English I enjoyed. Like, it is. It's like they made a spoof, but they didn't go as over the top as Austin Powers. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. It's like it's Mr. Bean does James Bond.
Right.
And it's it's either your thing or it's not.
Oh, I'm sure England ate it up.
Yeah, I'll bet. But I mean, that was 15 years ago. I mean, hell, the second one was 7 years ago. Like, they make it. That's the thing. Like, they make one of these like every 7 or 8 years. And I'm just like, God, no more, please, no more.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's jump into some TV news.
Yeah. So, Netflix has canceled Luke Cage and Iron Fist, probably because they want to make a Heroes for Hire series.
That's what I was thinking, but the way the way the actors were acting were like,
yeah.
Hey, that was great. I'm glad I did it, but they made it seem like they're no longer going to be they're no longer contract with, I don't know, they didn't say they're not with Netflix anymore, but
it sounded like that was the end of the road.
That was it. Yeah. I'm with you. I do hope that maybe this is a Heroes for Hires, but I mean, rumor has it that Daredevil's going to be canceled.
No, it won't be, because it's awesome and they're not stupid.
I know that it's awesome. I know they're not stupid, but apparently from what I'm reading, Netflix is just wanting to kind of do away with these. They're wanting to do they want to finish up Jessica Jones, The Punisher, Daredevil, and that's it.
Well, and then Disney can do them on their streaming service.
No, they won't. You can't do Daredevil and Punisher on Disney's streaming service, especially when you want everything PG-13. How are you going to do The Punisher? How are you going to do Daredevil? How are you going to do most of these? I guess you could get away with the Heroes for Hire PG-13.
You could do Heroes for Hire. You could get away with Daredevil. You could tone down Daredevil to a PG-13 level, honestly, without losing much.
I
You
I
can.
agree. A lot of
It's
the fight scenes, I don't know. I mean, I guess you could
you
get away
could.
with it, but it's brutal.
It is brutal, but I think they're still PG-13 brutal because like there's
Yeah,
nothing sticking out. Nobody dies
definitely can't
usually.
do Punisher.
You can't do Punisher. That one.
Yeah,
That one I give you.
and
That one's
that's
just
gonna
out.
suck.
Um,
But yeah, man. Yeah, I don't know. That's from what I understand. I understand they dropped these two because they definitely weren't going to do another season of them. And they're waiting to. I don't know. I'm with you. I hope. I'm not. I haven't finished Daredevil, so I don't know. Like, if it leaves in a cliffhanger or whatever. But I want more Daredevil. That has been to me the most consistent of all the series.
see,
Uh,
the end of season 3, without getting into anything, sets up something that if they went this way for season 4, would be amazing.
okay.
And I like if they cancel it after this season, then Netflix is stupid.
Yeah.
I get Luke Cage and Iron Fist because nobody watched them or liked them.
Right.
I'm sorry, guys.
I
It's
hear that
true.
season two of Iron Fist was a little bit better.
I
Was an
meant
improvement.
the like 10 minutes into the first episode, and they're right back into the corporate crap, and I was just done. I was like,
But
I'm not.
I hear they really do get away from that in the second
I,
season. The
I'll go.
Daughters of the Dragon and stuff like that. I'm kind of interested in it. When my buddy was telling me about it, I was like, that sounds interesting.
Yeah, well, I don't know.
But now that it's canceled, I'm like, why bother?
Yeah, kind of, but you know,
Yeah.
and I mean, Luke Cage went downhill after the first half of the first season.
I agree.
It did. It really
Yeah.
did. And that sucks. And I mean, the Defenders was not great. That was
Yeah.
disappointing as hell. But I mean, Daredevil season 3 was awesome. Start to
Yeah.
finish, top to bottom, fantastic.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So if
And
they
I
can,
want to see the sorry to sidetrack real fast. The what's the anime on Netflix right now from from the Nintendo game?
Castlevania, it's do.
Castlevania.
I still haven't watched any of that, but everybody raves about it. Like it's so good, apparently.
Yeah, and the second season just dropped, so I wanna watch that. Yeah, I think I'm gonna watch that this week.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's been a great month for Netflix.
you're not wrong. You're very
But
much not wrong.
yeah, yeah. So hopefully they do Hero for Hire. They should have done that in the beginning. They work way better together.
Yeah,
More the merrier for them. They have some of the best side characters in the shows as well, especially female led.
yeah.
So put those things together. Get a little team going with it, and it's just to me it would be just way better dynamic. Just overall, I don't know. That's this season of Daredevil, from what I've seen, has been spectacular, and it's been a very personal story with Matt Murdock.
Yeah.
There is a little part of me that misses seeing the Punisher or Elektra or some cool character in it. Now I don't know how the later half is. I don't know if they introduce other characters, but that's why I think the Heroes of Ohio would be great because that's where you could do that. You could add all these crazy characters and stuff.
Sure.
But yeah. So, anyway, but some great news. You go ahead and take the next one.
Yeah. And I don't know because I just added a piece before we started the show because I hadn't seen this before. Evidently, Malcolm Spellman, who's a producer and writer on Empire, has been tapped to write another one of these little Marvel spin-off series for Disney's streaming service. It's going to be Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Oh, wow.
And as soon as I saw that headline, I just thought of them in Civil War sitting in the car.
Yep.
Like as a first image that popped into my head.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. They would be great together. Absolutely.
It would. It would absolutely work.
Yeah. So the rumor is that the Falcon might be taken over as Cap once what's his face leaves the series.
I can understand that, and especially in the universe that they've created,
Yeah.
it makes way more sense than Bucky. Like Bucky has too much baggage and blood to. He wouldn't.
I'm Team Bucky. This is good. So why do you think Falcon would be a better choice?
Because I don't think Bucky would accept it. I think Bucky would outright refuse because he wouldn't think he's worthy of it, and he would flat out refuse.
I agree, and I think that's what makes it. I don't know. I think Falcon's just too much of his own character, where Bucky's legacy is so tied in to Captain America.
Nah, I don't see that at all.
Just of course. I mean, this well, for example, they have very parallel stories.
Yeah.
Being in World War II, being frozen, him being with America, him being with the Russians, and just being both being used by their country, one for good, one for evil, and the redemption of Bucky. To me, I don't know. To me, that's just it makes more sense if he was Cap. But I could totally see Falcon. I mean, Falcon is his story is obviously tied in the movies at least directly with Captain America, and then they kind of retconned it for the comics. But
Yeah.
um, I don't know. I think Falcon's just too much of his own. Plus, Bucky has like the exact same abilities. He's the superhuman strength. He has all that other stuff that Captain America has.
And then the first time, because I mean, Cap doesn't have a secret identity.
Yeah.
So the first time Bucky's face gets out there as Captain America, how much of that dirt is coming out of the woodwork?
Yeah, but that's part of I don't know.
But I don't think that I think that that's his primary concern. He's going to look at this and say, if you put my face out there, all of these assassinations, all of this horrible stuff is going to come to the front, and to bring that baggage to Steve's legacy is something he would flat out refuse to do. I don't think Sam would be jumping to take over either.
When I saw with Falcon, it just seemed like they were slapping Captain America's whatever on top of him. Kind of like when the Punisher took over as Cap, Wolverine, like any of these other characters. To me, Bucky is just way more tied into Captain America's history and legacy and all of his comics. Or it just seemed like it was tacked on with the Falcon or with the Punisher or all these other characters who have had a history with Captain America, but not as tied, if that makes sense.
Agreed. No, I completely agree with you. I think it's just they would obviously first and foremost bring it to Bucky, no question. Yeah. And he would look at everything he has done and he would say no. I think he himself would flat out refuse.
Yeah, oh yeah, I think that's a way better way to write it. I agree with you. I think that's probably what they do. And Anthony's hilarious, so this series to me, well, whatever they do moving forward, the series sounds awesome. I prefer series over movies now. But if they do, they continue Captain America movies without Chris, obviously they're all going to be in the same film. I agree with you. I think that's a better way to write it, and just have him lead it. I'm interested to see where they would go with that, without Chris Evans.
Yeah, it's
the future of Captain America.
Yeah, once we get past Avengers 4, man, we're gonna live in some interesting times.
Yeah, it's gonna be, especially with the X-Men, and it's and the Fantastic Four. It's gonna be. I'm glad they're gonna shuffle some things around. It's gonna look different.
And I mean, what do we know about Phase 4? Like, we know they're making an Eternals movie, but do we know anything else at all?
No.
Well, Homecoming 2, Far From Home. We know that.
Right. But Homecoming 2. Guardians is on the shelf.
Yeah.
We thought we were gonna get Guardians. Yeah, Thor still, there's no solid plans for Thor. We know that they're going to be doing a Doctor Strange 2. That's been talked about.
Yeah.
Black Panther 2.
Yeah,
but it's also ambiguous. I mean, half these characters are gone.
Yeah.
So it's going to be just a different landscape, I think, at the end of Avengers 4.
I remember I said this years ago, and it was kind of a pipe dream then, but I really think that given that the Fox deal is done as of January 1st, I think Marvel's panel at Comic-Con this year is going to open with a Phase 4 logo.
Yep.
And it's going to be that 4.
Yeah.
It's going to be the Fantastic Four logo for Phase 4. I really do. And because I want to see that. Not just because I want to say this was a cool idea that I thought was cool a long time ago, and hey, look, they did it, because obviously they would if they could. And it's not my creation, but I think that would just light the room up.
How I would do it is phase out the Iron Man movies, phase out the Captain America movies. If they're going to do a series, that's great. Maybe do one or two, but not as heavy as they were before with the Iron Man and the Cap.
No, well, I
Um,
mean, those guys aren't going to be there. So, like,
right, right.
I think that the movies are all going to be, the new Avengers going forward.
Yes, yeah, and we got Doctor Strange, we got Black Panther,
Black Widow, we know they're doing a movie
Black
for.
Widow, yep, which should have been a few phases ago.
Yeah, no kidding.
Oh, Captain Marvel, obviously we're going to be getting soon, but that's
Well, but
still in
that's,
this phase.
yeah, that's not 4.
But I'm saying we're going to get Captain Marvel 2, 3, and 4 and whatnot. I think they really do need to really start adding the X-Men and Fantastic Four to the next phase. Like you said, I
I'm
agree
sure that
100%.
for all their talk that nobody was working on that, I'm sure they had one little subset of writers, and that's their job. I
Yeah.
guarantee you. Like, there weren't any active plans. We're not actively working on that. Yeah, but there's like a half dozen nerds stuck in a corner somewhere who are Patton Oswalt
Oh,
bouncing these
I think the
ideas off everywhere.
internals is just a filler card. I think that's totally X-Men, that they're preparing for an X-Men film, but they're just calling it the internals for right now
Just
until they
because
announce it.
they can tie it into Thanos so it doesn't stick out like a sore purple thumb.
Yeah, they can start hiring people. They can start doing casts and just call it internals. And then at the last minute, go, psych, this guy's Wolverine. you know. But yeah, no, I'm excited. Have you been reading any comics recently?
No, I haven't for a while.
I started to get back into it. I'm now reading through. I wanted to read all the way through Ultimate Spider-Man,
Aha.
so I'm going through that. I'm right around where Venom and stuff is now.
Ooh, good times, good times.
Yes, yeah. What else did I read? I'm catching up with Avengers. I saw the Hulk come back. Um, where else? Thor. Jason Aaron's Thor has been so good.
Yeah, I'll bet.
It's the after the stuff with oh God, what's her name?
Jane?
Who's the Jane? Yeah,
Yeah.
Jane Foster has been Thor. His run with that is amazing. I've read the first part of that and then like the last 3 volumes of that. There's a big chunk in the middle that I still have to read. And then I started what he's doing now, and it's like a future Thor. And it's Thor from, however many years from now. He's got 3 granddaughters. Um, and he's fighting the Phoenix Force, which happens to be Logan.
Oh,
Old
well,
Man
that's a
Logan, essentially.
terrifying thought.
Yes, so it is Odin Thor against Wolverine. And can I spoil a little bit of it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I'm gonna spoil. So fast forward 5 minutes if you want to be spoiled for this future Thor. What's awesome is they're fighting, they're fighting, they're fighting. They know neither one can win. Something to do with the Phoenix Force can't kill Odin Thor because of, and they set all this up in the Avengers from the past, where Odin and the Phoenix Force had a relationship. So
Sure.
this is a bazillion years in the future, and it's kind of come around where like they know they can't really kill each other. And what's happening on Earth is Fing Fang Foom and like 3 other monsters, classic Marvel monsters, arrive on what's called Midgard 2, which is essentially the new Earth. And um, they come and wreak havoc, and the 3 Thor granddaughters can't really take them. And but they're fighting him, blah 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 blah, and they are beating him down. But then they realize that they are serving somebody. When they find out who they're serving Doom.
Of course.
And Doom has the power of Doctor Strange, Iron Fist, and some other character that I can't think of right now. But if you see the logo, you're like, oh yeah yeah yeah. So essentially, he's got all of these abilities in one, and it's Doctor Doom. And he's basically he can't be beaten. So, Phoenix Force, Logan, old man, or basically old man Logan, old man Thor, team up to take on Doom. And the Phoenix Force Logan realizes like I can't do this. Puts his energy and the Phoenix Force into Thor's hammer, and so you have Odin Thor with his hammer that has the powers of the Phoenix Force against Doom and all these other abilities. So it's been fucking cool.
This really sounds like like a giant nerd sat down and was like, "But what if?" and did that
It's
like 1,000 times.
it's Dragon Ball Z.
It is.
It's
It's so is.
totally Dragon Ball Z.
But that
Give me
can
your
work.
power.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
that can
it's
always
so
totally work. Like if it's done right, and with somebody like Jason Aaron, I would expect nothing less.
it really is. Absolutely. I've been reading some DC. Um, uh, it's been really good, especially Batman. What else have I been reading? God. Um, I don't know. I caught up with Spider-Man finally, the Amazing Spider-Man. I read all the way through to the Carnage Green Goblin.
Oh, yeah, the end of Slot's run is amazing.
Yes, and the death of a character that I really liked.
I know. Oh, that hurt. Oh, that hurt so bad. And the funeral scene with the eulogy, just
Yeah,
I cried.
yeah,
No lie. Like I was God.
yeah. It's really good. It's really good. It's
Yeah. I
man.
still like I haven't read anything past what the last one of his 801. Like I haven't read any of the new run yet.
Yeah, no, me either.
God, and
Um,
801 was great. Like did you like the little send off that he did?
yes, yeah,
Oh
yeah,
man.
yeah.
It was classic. Like it was a beautiful homage to everything that made Peter Parker Spider-Man.
Oh yeah,
And it was a fantastic note to go out on, especially and an uplifting one after everything that happened in 800.
yeah.
Oh god, it hurts.
It does. It does. Oh yeah. Um, what else have I been reading? There's a little bit. What was it? Um, I don't know. I've read the first two issues of the Fantastic Four, which were pretty good. I'm trying to think. I don't know. I'll get back next week because I've been really getting back into it just because it's a lot of these series have really been ramping up. And then like Infinity Gauntlet, whatever that thing is that's happening now, and like it's essentially what's her face? Oh, Gamora becomes Thanos essentially. She's the bad guy.
Okay.
She wants to kill Thanos and all this other stuff, but she ends up becoming just as evil as him. And everyone has a I don't know. So it's basically her as the villain. But anyway, but I know like what Spider-Geddon is happening right now.
Yeah, that's starting or just started or about to start.
Yeah,
And I
I'm not.
like I'll get into that here before I might wait until that's over and then read it straight through.
Yeah,
Cause God, Spider-Verse was so good.
yeah,
And now it's like, and now we're gonna do that again, but like bigger or different. Or I was like, I don't, man, do something different.
yeah,
Like do something Spider Islandy. Spider Island was different and bizarre and great.
yeah.
And I don't know. It's whatever.
One series I do want to read is Multiple Man. I hear it's really good.
I have heard that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, but yeah, so that's what I've been reading. I just, especially after Venom, I want to read some more Venom. I hear the new series is pretty good.
It got weird.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
got
Oh yeah, he's got a new baby now, huh?
well, like he
Oh, I
met.
read that. I'm sorry. How many issues into that is that where he actually has the baby, but then like he's like, I'll come back and watch it.
I got a little hung up on the fact like, oh yeah, and by the way, we met the god of the symbiotes, and so now Venom has like dragon wings, and I was like,
Oh, I didn't see that.
I need to take a breath for a minute. I'm like, this is just weird now.
But that's cool. That's one of the coolest images I've ever seen of it.
It is a badass image, no question.
So I'm not that far in it then, I guess. Um,
But it got weird. It got so weird. But like if you're gonna do the mythology of these things, which I can't remember, like they have a name now, and I can't remember what it is. But
well, they're
I'm just
like
like,
space knights, right? They're they're a race that protects what? I forgot what. I don't know. Aren't they?
man, I don't remember.
They
Like
went into because that was the series. They Venom Space Knight, and they kind of went into the details of that race. It was only because they attached themselves to like crazy people that they became crazy.
yeah, but it
Um,
was yeah, because I didn't read a lot of Space Knight. Like I fell off of like the end of Flash's run as Venom.
uh,
Like his stuff with the Guardians and everything. Like I didn't really get into that.
Oh,
But
I
like
thought that was cool.
it looked really awesome. I just never read any of it.
Yeah.
But it was what in because I need a minute because I got to remember like what because they gave him a name, like the actual species has a name, and I can't. I'm gonna have to. It's gonna take me a minute to find it, but because it came in the the Clintar is the name of the symbiote race now.
Right.
Um, and like their god's name was like Null or something. It was like Knull, I think. And
Ah.
it's God, it's so weird.
Oh, and the other
It's
one I read was Cosmic Ghost Rider.
that one just sounded like a fun, like it could be a fun kind of bizarre.
Oh, it is. Do you know the premise?
I do not know the premise.
Okay. So Frank Castle was the Punisher,
Yeah.
right?
Oh boy.
He made a deal with the devil, and it made him Ghost Rider.
Oh, that is a terrifying thought.
And he's on a mission to kill baby Thanos. Because if anyone could do it, he could do
Sure. Okay.
it. Man, Marvel has been so weird recently and so good. You have Loki as the as what is it the with Doctor Strange. Um, you have all of that going on. You have Cosmic Ghost Rider, which is its own little thing. Man, it's just been weird and it's been fun. Like it's been really fun. Because I have a lot of this digitally. I want to get the graphic novel of this because it's just so much fun.
Nice. Nice.
Um, but yeah, no, it's weird and it's stupid and but it's just so different. And that's what I like about it. So yeah, it's good. Um, but anyway, there was a like it's funny because he'll go, it's timey wimesy. So like he'll like if you look at like for example issue 3, the cover of issue 3 of Ghost Rider, Cosmic Ghost Rider, it's straight up 90s.
Nice.
Like the big, cable with the big, looks like a World of Warcraft character, bunch of patches, big shoulder pads. I don't know. It's cool. It's cool. Anyway, um, yeah, man, that's what I've been reading. Um, I need to get more into DC. That's the thing that I'm way into Marvel right now. I need to get more into DC.
Yeah.
Um, but we got let's see here. Where were we? Whew, sorry. Game of Thrones TV.
No, we skipped one.
Oh, we did. Oh, yeah. Go ahead and take it.
Yeah, Adi Shankar, who's the producer on Castlevania we talked about earlier, is working on something vague that he said he'll announce officially on November 16th. All of the kind of signs point to a Legend of Zelda series, potentially on Netflix.
Yes.
That could be very interesting.
All in. Man, Castlevania's been getting nothing but great reviews from people that I admire.
Yeah.
So, yes. Give me a short animated series, and then you can do seasons. Like that's perfect. Like that's what they. Oh, I say that's what they should do with Pokemon, but that has a series. But I want more like this.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. But yeah, man, imagine Zelda. That's kind of perfect. That I could totally see that. We got some Game of Thrones news.
Yeah, Naomi Watts has been cast as one of the leads in the prequel series that HBO is doing.
Cool.
That'll be interesting.
Oh yeah. Halo production's going to begin June 2019.
Yeah, over in was it Romania or Bulgaria or wherever it is, they're doing this.
Okay.
So that's cool.
Yeah. We got a animated Star Trek show.
Yeah, it's called Star Trek Lower Decks. And it's basically gonna focus on everybody who the main series is like, well, these people exist, but they're not important.
I love that.
Yeah. And it's from Mike McMahon. So and they already gave it a 2-season order.
Oh,
They're
that's
like,
awesome.
yeah, we're gonna get one of the Rick and Morty guys to do a Star Trek series about people who don't matter. Yeah, let's go ahead and order 2 seasons of that.
Absolutely.
Like, okay, sure, go for it, have fun, knock yourself out.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that.
and in what I think is oddly similar news across the pond, um, Stephen Moffat and Mark Gatiss are doing a BBC slash Netflix series for Dracula, uh, and
Okay.
it's going to be done much the same way as Sherlock was, where it's going to be like it's like 3 90-minute episodes in a season. Um, so sure, I don't think we need this, but whatever.
Yeah.
People will watch it.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Hopefully it
People will
doesn't.
definitely watch it.
Hopefully it doesn't suck.
Yeah.
I guess they'd rather do this than make more Sherlock, which is what people actually want.
Yeah. That's true. We got a Pennyworth series.
Yeah, Jack Bannon from The Imitation Game is cast as a young Alfred Pennyworth, and Ben Aldridge, who from Fleabag, has been cast as young Thomas Wayne. Uh,
Okay.
yeah, sure. I mean, why not? Alfred has an interesting-ish backstory. I'm down with that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The Pokemon Go news. Did you see what they have put in the game?
No, tell me what all is going on with Pokemon Go.
Oh God, where do I start? Let me boot it up.
Well, because they announced they released details on how to catch Meltan so that it actually stayed as Meltan.
Yeah.
And then they announced it has an evolved form.
Yes. Yeah. So let me go ahead and pull this up here.
And then they're
'Cause
doing what, like Gen 4 now or whatever they're up to.
there's been a ton of developments. So yeah, so the mystery boxes and how to catch Meltan. So it says first you'll need to transfer a Pokemon, presumably any Gen 1 Pokemon, from Pokemon Go to a copy of Let's Go. This can be either your own or a friend's copy of Let's Go. It's not clear if you'll need to be in-game friends officially for it to work. However, presumably you will be. You'll have to be. Uh, Doing so will award you a mystery box back in Pokemon Go, which can be opened for 30 minutes, letting multiple wild Melton out into the wild into your Pokemon Go game where you can catch it. So essentially, you transfer Pokemon to Pokemon Go, you'll get this box, you'll be able to catch Meltan. After 30 minutes, the mystery box will close and wild Meltan will stop appearing in Pokemon Go for you. It will stay closed for an undisclosed period of time. Once the cooldown time has elapsed, you can open the mystery box again and let more Meltan out into the wild. Doing so, you'll need to transfer another Pokemon from Pokemon Go or a friend's copy to your game. And then, yeah, I think you got to catch. What will probably happen is there will be just like right now. There's a whole bunch of special field research. I'm sure there'll be one for him where you got to catch like 400 or something.
Yeah.
But that's one piece of news. There, in the last week, there has been so much Pokemon Go news. For one, yes, the Meltan stuff. So it's the first legendary to ever evolve. There was the October Community Day, which had Beldum, so that you can get you could get the shiny Beldum. Then they did a Halloween event, where let's see, there's shiny versions of Drifloon, Stunky, and then they had the raids with Gratina. They also added the special field research where you could get, let's see, what's his name? Hold on a second. I don't have his name in front of me, but he's like a spooky face. I think that's what his name is. Hold on a second. Pokemon Go. Spooky. Let's see here. Spirit Bomb. That's it. Yeah, Spirit Bomb. I knew it was something weird. So yeah. So they added the Halloween event. I already got my Gratina, which is awesome. Still looking for the shiny balloon-looking ones. Right now, also you get double candy until Halloween. So after Halloween, so catch as many as you can now because you don't have to use the pineapple berries. You get double candy. The next community day is Cyndaquil, which is November 10th. Also during that day, there will be November 3rd on Saturday. So this upcoming Saturday, there's a Gengar um, special raid. So for 3 hours, so same time as usual. So from 2 p.m. Eastern till 5 p.m. There'll be nothing but Gengars in every gym, and you have a chance of getting a shiny. Um, the new field research task for next month is Shedinja, which is a bug ghost type Pokemon. So expect a lot of bug ghost type field research. Um, you'll also get a chance to catch a shiny. Um, where did it go? Where did it go? Caterpie, which is what I've been wanting. I want a shiny Butterfree. So that's awesome. And one of the biggest pieces of news, which I thought was really cool, is there's this thing called Adventure Sync. And essentially, they've made the game now so it can run in the background and still collect data. So walking for the candies, or I'm sorry, walking for the eggs, and walking so your Pokemon can deliver candies. So like your buddy Pokemon. So let's say you have a Charmander. Um, every mile that you go, well, with Charmander it's 3 kilometers. So every 3 kilometers you get a candy. Well, as it was before, if you had the game idle, and let's say you were in Facebook and you were walking, but the game was in the background, it wasn't calculating it. It wasn't tracking it. Now it does. So, for example, if you work, let's say you work at a store and you bring up Pokemon Go and you're walking into the store and you're catching, and then you put your phone in your pocket and the phone is, the screen's black and you're not doing anything, it's still going to calculate your walking and steps all throughout the day.
Nice.
Terrible for your battery, but
Yeah, well.
um, but yeah, it tracks all of that, and also it works, of course, with the Android and all the iPhone apps for health and stuff like that. So it's gonna sync with all of those. So I thought that was really cool because that's one thing that I know a lot of people that I've talked to they hated about the game was that you actually had to have it open in order for it to do all the things with the eggs and stuff. Now you don't have to. Now you can go about your life and it still calculates your walking distance and everything. Which is really cool. So those are all the Pokemon Go news. So it seems like every day they were dropping a whole new thing. Like, oh, here by the, and now it seems like they're doing that for the whole month of October. There's always been an event going on. There might be a day or two where there's not an event, but then it just shifts into a new event where you get all new Pokemon. And yeah, of course, I'm sorry, Gen 4 dropped. So there's all new Pokemon, walking around, and you have to collect, and that's been fun. But yeah, man, it's the best time to jump in is now. There's so much going on with it. There's always something to do. I'm having a
Nice.
blast with it.
Yeah, very cool.
Yep, I'm trying to get that Spirit Bomb because basically I had to catch 108 Pokemon with berries. Now I have to catch 108 Pokemon by themselves. And because you're basically sacrificing the spirits to get this Spirit Bomb. Because I guess that's what that Pokemon is. It's like 108 spirits uh, tied to this rock thing, and essentially they want you to catch 108 and then turn them into candies to create this Pokemon. It's kind of fucked up.
Yeah, a little bit there.
It is. Oh yeah. I mean, some of these Halloween Pokemon are like the Defloon or whatever. Apparently, that Pokemon, its story or whatever is that it's like basically this balloon has like an X on it, and it has like these strings and with like little hands down at the bottom, and it's like, and like some of the if you like look at what it's about, um, its story is that you sometimes you see when small children see these Defloons, they sometimes go missing,
Oh,
and they're seen being
fantastic.
carried away by these spirits.
Uh,
So it's really spooky. But anyway, but yeah, man, that's the Pokemon Go news. There's a ton of it. I'm sure when we come back next week, there'll be even more news. But I'm getting excited. Getting ready for the bug type. I want to get that shiny Butterfree. So be looking for those Caterpies. Plus, I have a cool new Gengar backpack in the game and a Gengar hoodie because I'm an idiot. I love Gengar. He's a dumb little ghost Pokemon. He's by far the best ghost Pokemon. But anyway, where were we? Yeah, so that's games for Pokemon Go. We got some games with gold for November.
Yeah, and of course we have. Did we get? We had to. Uh, we had to get the list for PS Plus games, right? Because it starts. No, it'll be tomorrow because they don't come out until the first. It'll be a week. Damn. So we won't have them until next week, which is a bummer. That makes me sad.
Yeah,
So anyway, but the Xbox games, I like November's lineup. Uh, Battlefield 1 is free all month.
yeah.
Okay, cool. I mean, sure, why not? Um, Race the Sun is free from November 16th to December 15th. The original Assassin's Creed gets backwards compatibility, and it's free
Okay.
from the 1st to the 15th. The big one I'm excited about, though, November 16th through the end of the month, backwards compatibility for Dante's Inferno. I loved Dante's Inferno. I know it's a God of War clone. I don't care. It was so good.
Oh wow.
I loved that game a
Yeah, it's
lot.
really good. Oh yeah, I remember that. I remember it now. Yeah, it's a good game. Never beat it though.
Oh, you should. It's good the whole way through, and
Yeah,
the ending is very like, oh yeah, I didn't see that coming, but that makes sense.
yeah, yeah. I'll definitely get back into. Oh, it's for Xbox. I don't have an Xbox.
Oh, that's a bummer.
Damn. Yeah. We got some Resident Evil news.
Yeah, they announced that the remastered versions of Resident Evil, Resident Evil 0, and Resident Evil 4 are going to be coming to Switch next year.
Sweet, sweet.
So, yet another. People joke about how many versions of Skyrim there are. Think about how
Yeah.
many versions of Resident Evil 4 there are.
Oh wow, that's true.
It's insane. Now, to be
There's a
fair,
bunch.
they don't have an Alexa version of Resident Evil 4. I'll grant you that. But
Not yet.
not yet.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of ports, man, Doom has gotten. I'm not Doom, but Diablo
Diablo
3's got
3.
fantastic reviews on the Switch.
That's what I've seen. I like that. That's good.
Yeah,
That's pretty
that's
good.
if you didn't have a place, or I'm sorry, if you didn't have a PC and you didn't really feel it on PlayStation Switch, man, that's the way to go. That on the grind on the go. I'm definitely gonna be picking that up. It looks like a lot of fun. Um, I saw this. Hold on, let me see if I can pull the story up here.
Uh-oh, we found something.
No, no, no. Actually, never mind. Um, it was a weird trade-in thing that I thought was odd. It was like trading a Switch for a Switch.
Oh yeah, isn't GameStop doing a thing of like switching your colors or something bizarre like that?
Yeah, it was a real thing. It was a weird thing.
Yeah.
It's like offers $200 credit for trading a Switch for a Switch.
Yeah.
I
It's
don't
like,
know why you would do that.
okay, sure, whatever.
But look at me, I'm trading in a PlayStation for. I'm gonna be getting a PlayStation Pro. Oh, which by the way I never got. Not yet.
What, you didn't get it or you didn't pre-order it?
I pre-ordered the Red Dead, but I just I had to spend my money on other things.
Ah.
But don't worry, it will be coming this week.
Uh-huh.
They're available. I'm saying that, so hopefully next week we'll check in to see
Yeah,
if I
he's
actually
been
have it.
saying for like a month now.
Yes, but the good news is PlayStation Pros are now available.
For
You can
now.
go into GameStop or Best Buy and get one now.
For now.
For now, yeah. So
Yeah,
get it now before the holiday season really kicks in, which is like tomorrow.
yeah. I was gonna say, I was like, I'm sure you thought that before you went to get your Pro for Spider-Man and realized that they don't
Very
make
true.
Pros at all anymore.
Oh yeah, but when I canceled it, I looked and I was like, okay. And I looked today actually to make sure, and they're still there, they're still available. So
Uh-huh.
I just had to wait until some extra money came in. But yeah,
Uh-huh. Yeah, okay.
we'll see. No, the thing is I want to get the Red Dead bundle, but I'll be playing Spider-Man for months.
Yeah.
And then I'll touch Red Dead for the thing with Red Dead. I know that I'm going to touch it for 8 hours, and I'm going to get bored, and I'm probably never going to touch it again because I hear that game is so long and drawn out.
It's why I could never get into the first one. It's like you have to and everybody says the same thing. If you invest the time, it's worth it, and I believe them 110%. I just don't have the time.
Who has the time? I mean, yes, if we were back in high school and we had just hours to spend,
Oh
after
hell
school.
yes. Are you kidding me?
and we can't, we couldn't drive anywhere, we couldn't do anything. Like, yes, absolutely. I would totally. That would be a game I could. That reminded me of like Metal Gear Solid, where we just dived in for days, and beat. But yeah, no, I just can't these days. It's just ridiculous. It's the gift and the curse of being an adult. You have extra funds, but you don't have the time.
Yeah.
Um, so it sucks. But yeah, but Spider-Man, I could jump into Spider-Man and beat that, and swing around and be a hero, and play that song while I'm playing Spider-Man.
Fair, fair. Yeah, I've been playing through New Game Plus, so that I can
Yeah.
beat that again.
Oh, okay. So they did drop the new the plus
Yeah,
for
it
it.
came out a week before the DLC came out.
Oh wow.
Because it was just an update. It was just like, and here's your New Game Plus. It's like, cool, thank you. What
Okay.
else did we get with it? Well, you got a new filter that adds puddle stickers. That to me was the most magnificently petty clapback I've ever seen. It was it was beautiful. I
Oh yeah.
loved it so much. They were like, and by the way, you can add your own fucking puddles.
It's great.
I was like, yes, yes. Oh god, Insomniac just out of the park.
Oh yeah. Let me ask you, what is your favorite song from the Spider-Man soundtracks of all of them? Because they just dropped that new Post Malone one, the Sunflower. I thought was pretty good.
Yeah, pass.
I loved it. I thought it was great. But what's your favorite song from Spider-Man?
I uh, I don't really know if I have one, man.
No?
No.
Oh man, I don't know. It's a tie between Vindicated and Hero for me, I think.
Because they're all so terrible.
They're terrible. I mean, but the Spider-Man 2 soundtrack. Let me go over some of the artists if I could.
Yeah, go for it. This is a trip down. Oh my god, that's right. I went to high school memory lane.
Dashboard Confessional.
Yes.
Taking Back Sunday.
Yes.
Yellow Card.
Yes.
Hoobastank.
Yes.
Train.
Yes.
The Ataris.
Yes.
Lost Prophets.
God, this just gets worse the more you read.
There's just the soundtracks are just gold, and yes, obviously super cheesy and super that time period. But man, I don't know. I love that Vindicated song. I thought it was great. Spider-Man has a great soundtrack for these movies. And Post Malone's very obviously of the times, and not everyone's into him. But
Yeah,
man,
well,
I liked it. I thought
yeah,
it was good.
thank God that we, like, for Spider-Man 2, we have such timeless classics as Something by Yellow Card.
Well, for the time, those were the bands.
That's what I'm saying. Like, they are,
Yeah.
you're like, Post Malone is of the time. Well, yeah, they all are. Like, that's
Yeah.
Nobody's writing any classics there.
Yeah. No, I agree. But no. When you hear Vindicated, how can you not sing that out loud? Or Hero. And a hero.
Because sometimes I remember I'm actually standing in the middle of a Walmart, which is the only place they play that out loud anymore.
Oh, man, it's on your playlist?
No. Ha 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 ha.
It's on my playlist. Oh, man, it's good. Oh, man. But yeah, let's okay, so let's shift. Let's get into some reviews. We're going to talk about Venom, House on Hill House, Titans, Doctor Who, Daredevil, and the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. So some of these I haven't gone fully into, so some of them we won't go into full spoilers, but we're just putting it up right now. That if you haven't watched these, kind of go at your own discretion. So, what we're gonna do, let's talk about Venom first, because that's one that you saw a while ago. I just recently saw.
Yeah.
We talked about it briefly earlier. The impressions. I liked it. I'd give it a good 6 or 7 out of 10. If I was gonna throw a number on it, it's okay. It's way better than I thought it would be.
Agreed.
And I'm excited about to see what they're doing with next. I mean, the ending, the after credits came as a surprise to me. I was curious, how they were going to tie in. We're just jumping right to it with Carnage. What did you think of that part?
I forgot that was a thing they were doing. And
Yeah.
so when they did that at the end, and I was like, oh my god, Woody Harrelson with flaming red hair, no. Like, I'm sorry, that just looked terrible.
It looked terrible. I agree. The hair looked terrible.
Oh, it looked awful. And I mean that in a bad way. I don't mean that in like he's a serial killer, so of course he looks deranged and he's been in prison kind of, it looks bad. I mean, it looks bad.
Yeah.
So the more time he spends as Carnage whenever they do that, the better.
Well, why was it curly?
Because I don't
I don't
know.
remember his hair being. I remember his hair being like messed up, but it never was curly.
I mean, I don't care if he'd had a perm, he still would look awful.
Yeah.
Just because, I mean,
He did have a perm.
yeah, God, that's right. Maybe that's why it looked awful.
Yeah.
I was not. Cletus Cassidy needed to be like 20 years younger.
When I saw the first guy for the trial, I was like, that guy looks like Cletus Cassidy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who's that kid who plays the Joker on Gotham?
Yeah, he would have been great.
He would have been great as Cletus. He's a little bit short, but still.
I'm okay with that. Like, they had tall Wolverine, we can have short Carnage.
Right.
I don't care.
Yeah. But that age, that crazy, he's got red hair. Or I mean even like what's his face? Morgan from Dexter. Dexter Morgan? What's his face?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
His natural red hair, it wouldn't have looked as ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean that would work.
He's kind of young. He's not. He's
He would have. It would have been a better fit than Woody was.
Oh, for sure.
That's...
Woody's a great kid, but yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like they're just going off his name alone.
Exactly. Like that was stunt casting, plain and simple.
Yeah.
And it just I didn't like it. I loved his portrayal, but like I wouldn't be able to get past the whole like it wouldn't work, man.
Mm-hmm.
It just wouldn't work. But
yeah.
And then of course the long sequence from Into the Spider-Verse at the end of it, which was like, okay, I did not expect this.
Wait, the end of what? I didn't see that.
Then you didn't stay all the way through, man.
I was told there was only one scene in the middle.
No.
I didn't see what's the
you missed what everybody I've talked to has called the best part of the movie.
Are you kidding me?
It's 5 minutes from Into the Spider-Verse.
Wait, so it
doesn't tie in. Venom? It does not tie in whatsoever at all. It's just after the credits they put up like the little like comic bubble of like the setting, like the square box, and it just says "Meanwhile in another universe," and then it gives you like 5 minutes of Into the Spider-Verse.
Oh wow, no, I didn't see that.
Oh man, it was so good.
I'll see. I mean, I'm gonna see that movie, so
yeah, it's so good. It's when Peter Parker lands in Miles Morales' universe.
Okay.
The 616 Peter Parker or whatever.
See, I looked online because I always look because I don't want to know what the credit scene is. There's a website that I use, and it's like there's only one, and it's during the middle, so that's why I left after that because it was late last night.
To be fair, they were right about that in the sense of like that's the only one that's connected to Venom.
Right.
That's fair. But yeah, it's 5 minutes and it's hysterical. It's great. Gotcha. It starts off really sincere, and it's great because it's Miles and he's running from the Prowler and he's getting his ass handed to him and he finally gets away, and he winds up in the graveyard where Peter Parker is buried.
Yeah.
And he's doing this whole speech and blah, blah, blah. And it's a really nice, touching moment. And then 616 Peter Parker just kind of collapses unconscious out of the sky. And zaniness ensues. Like, he winds up, like, because Peter has web shooters. Miles has no webs. And so he's using Peter's web shooters to get away. And, like, they wind up, like, webbed to the side of an L train and just bounce off of every piece of traffic they can find.
Oh wow!
It's so funny because at one point it cuts to the backseat shot of two cops sitting in a police car, and over the radio it just says we have reports of a youth dressed as Spider-Man dragging a homeless corpse through the city. It's because it's goofy and it's really funny, and it ends with them like they're collapsed on a sidewalk. Or on a crosswalk in the middle of the street. Like, Miles is... Because they bounced off of everything. And the webbing runs out... Because the train stops and they fall off the web line. And they're both laying there in the crosswalk. And everybody kind of steps to them. And it's just Miles' voice. You just hear, he's like, hey, can you guys go around? And then, like, they just step over both of them because, it's New York.
Yeah.
And it, like, gets ready to fade out. It's just Miles going, okay... Thanks, New York. And it's played like, okay, yeah, that's right, this is gonna be fun and goofy and more lighthearted.
Yeah.
um, and it was a good way to end that movie, because yeah, it's not connected at all in any way, but it's funny and I liked it, and it's heartfelt because it's Miles who's just like, okay, um, you, okay, wow, you're Spider, you're him, but you're not him because he's dead. And how did, okay, you know what, the cops are coming, I don't have time to figure this out right now, we need to get out of here.
Yeah.
It's just, and it's, and of course they hit the side of a bus and like get dragged along the window, and there's the squeaking sound effect and everything. They hit all those kind of beats.
Yeah.
But it's a good scene. I liked it.
Yeah. I mean, seeing the trailer alone, man, the art of that, the way the animation is for that movie,
Yeah, it's wild.
it's, I'd love to see Dragon Ball like that. Like that type of animation is so well done.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. But yeah, I can't wait for that. That's probably my most anticipated for the end of the year,
That's
because
fair.
that comes out December, right?
That's Christmas. Yeah.
Christmas. So, that's my most anticipated, because I remember when it first came out, I was like, okay, it looked like it was just Miles and then Peter towards the end, or Gwen. But then it just went crazy with like it was like, oh wow, this is Spider-Verse.
Yeah, it's like, okay, this is gonna
essentially.
go places. All right, I'm down.
Yeah, yeah. And Sony is, basically essentially setting up like a multiverse. So I don't know. Cool, 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 cool. Um, but yeah, I mean, so yeah, so we talked about Carnage. I don't even know how that scene was set up. Why was he even going there?
Because Eddie Brock was a journalist, and Carnage wanted to finally talk to somebody from the press, and
Oh,
I don't know. I guess Eddie was the only one that would take the gig, or the only one that he would talk to, or something like that.
gotcha, gotcha. Yeah. Um. Well, anyway, but yeah, so I don't know. It just some beats for the movie were, I liked the relationship between Eddie and Venom.
Yeah,
Um,
agreed for sure.
yeah, I liked how they were talking with each other. I thought it would have been, like I said, this would have played out great in the MCU. Just how funny it was with some of this, like when he calls him a pussy and stuff like that was really good.
Yeah.
I liked it. It showed Carnage's weakness. I mean, not Carnage, showed Venom's weaknesses with the sound and everything else. I thought those are great scenes, showing him fall and stuff like that. Um, it's just the pacing that was off. Really, you could tell that, like you said, somewhere there's a great edit of this film where it's not all edited out, and there's, you can spend more time with the characters and there's more development instead of it just, because I can't tell you like how long how long of a period this film was. I know at the beginning it jumps like 6 months
Yeah.
or 7 or however long, but after that I could not tell you how long it was between days and stuff like that.
A couple days. It takes place over like the course of just a couple days, I think.
Okay, okay,
But
yeah, and
yeah, that's it. You're right. It's another thing of like, okay, when are we now? It does. Yeah,
yeah.
It's really easy to get turned around.
And I
Um,
just thought they made him they set him up to fail with, obviously, with the way he went about. Like, what did you think was going to happen going into there, saying all of that stuff, using your fiance like that? It all blew up in his face, and it was so obvious, and it just made me not like him. And when he shows up again, he looks just so, I don't know. They just made him seem so.
it's the problem was that like Eddie got beat and he stayed beat.
Yeah, he kept
Like
getting beaten. Like,
he didn't get back up. Like, okay, he got thrown off of his network and he lost his fiance, and yeah, life sucks, but you have a show, which means you have a following,
yeah,
which means you could do something. And
yeah,
instead he decided not to. Like, it made him look like a bum.
yeah.
And yeah,
Well, the
like,
way he showed back up, and like she's with the new guy, and then he looks like, it seemed like a day later
yeah.
he was running into them again. All he looked like he was on drugs and eating lobster out of the. And suddenly the boyfriend was like, "I'm his doctor." He was acting all cool about it. It's like, okay, that's odd, but okay, all right. So, and then it all seems so weird. Um,
Again, that's the thing of like, this guy is clearly a good guy, but you need a little setup for that. You
You
need
do need
this.
a little setup, absolutely.
You need to see where, like, okay, he has patience with people
Yeah.
because he, sorry, Dr. Bun, but it's because maybe he had a brother who
Yep.
had some kind of special needs brother or something, and so
Right.
he learned to have patience and say, no, 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 this isn't somebody who's acting out because he's violent. There's just something
Sick.
wrong. He needs
Yeah.
help, not jail.
Right. Right.
Give
Right.
me 5 minutes, or
Yeah.
2 minutes. How's your brother doing? Oh yeah, this and this, but we got him help.
And
The way you took care of him was really great. And well, that's how I formed this philosophy. Blah blah blah. 2 minutes. That's it.
right.
There.
And her to turn and to kiss Eddie and stuff. I was like, that's not deserved. It just didn't seem
Yeah.
like,
There's.
why would you do that? Why would you? This guy's a good dude that's helping you and your crazy ex-boyfriend out, and I don't know.
No.
It just nothing. And this all has to do with editing. Like, there's obviously, and that it ties in beautifully with what you said. This should have been a series, or you could have. This is where Daredevil shines, where all of
Yes.
that is earned, and
Yes.
you get those 5 minutes, and you get those conversations, and you get those, even the quiet times with them. You get that character development and the pacing and everything. Where this was just all over the place, and it was just like, okay, now we're going to space. What?
Yeah.
What
So,
happened? Like, this guy,
somewhere.
we just met him? Like,
Yeah.
toxic dude? I don't know. I thought that part was cool, the whole toxic guy going from person to person, very horror-ish.
Yeah. Riot. Riot.
Right, right. Yeah, that's it. Who was toxic?
Toxin was a different symbiote altogether, wasn't in
Oh,
this.
gotcha.
There's.
All very 90s bands names.
Yeah. Right. No
Um,
kidding.
well, so let's think back. They said when they landed, there was 3 of them and 1 escaped. Now, the one that escaped, is that the one that
That
is
was
Riot?
Riot.
Okay,
That was
because we
Riot that
see
escaped.
Carnage the whole time, even though Carnage, I guess, is the baby of Venom.
Carnage is an offspring of Venom.
Do you think they'll go that route?
I think they might. I
Yeah.
really think they might. Like, Venom has some kind of, like, meta crisis or something and splits for whatever reason. And then
Yeah.
it's and make it a thing though of like, oh, we've got to catch that, who knows what's going to happen, blah blah blah. And then it kicks their ass because brand new newborn symbiote strength or something, make something up, I don't care. And
Yeah.
then, it gets away. And then winds up however finding its, it jumps from person to person like Riot did until with no goal though.
Yeah.
It's brand new, it doesn't know what's going on. You could almost play kind of the Doomsday story with that. Of
Yeah.
where, like, it just kind of finds violence attractive, so it goes towards, well, where's violence? Oh, what's this? A serial killer. What's a serial killer? Well, I kind of understand from the people that I've been in, I've gleaned the language, and serial killers are awful, violent, terrible people. I want to meet this guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's
you can play that pretty easily.
What I didn't get, because the Venom is killing him, but how do they resolve that at the end? Because he's still killing him, but he's still a part of him.
I mean, the reason he was killing him was because he wasn't eating enough. And that's something that ties in with the ultimate version of Venom.
Okay.
That's where that idea came from of like.
So he's just not eating enough. That's why it was killing him.
Exactly. Like that's why it was consuming all these hosts was because it didn't have enough food, and so they find a way to work through that.
So I guess he's just constantly eating, and now he's good.
Yeah. Just
okay, because I was wondering that. I was like, he's literally killing him. So how are they going to resolve this? Where it's like, I thought killing Venom at the end was kind of cool. I thought him being dead was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Because it made it so that now Brock could leave a normal life. And what I was assuming was going to happen is in the next movie, Venom finds a new host. But no, that's not the route they went. They were like, oh, we like Eddie Brock, blah, blah, blah. He's going to be the Venom. Because I thought maybe that he was like, all right, we're good. And then who knows, maybe in the next one, he finds the Flash. He finds, what's his face?
Flash.
Flash
Thompson?
Flash Thompson, yeah. He finds Flash Thompson or someone else.
So he travels clear across country to New York to inhabit the body of a Indian high school kid. Like,
well, we can change some things around. Maybe that's not the exact Flash Thompson in this universe. I don't know, but you know what I mean? Like, I just thought that was a good way to break it off, but they didn't go that route. It was just a
it was a fake out. And I,
It was
you
a
know,
fake
and,
out.
and I was okay with that. And they've,
Yeah.
here's my thing. Somewhere there exists a cut that's like 25 minutes longer,
Yeah.
and it
We
fixes all these problems. I
yeah,
know
we
that
go
there.
back to that because I'm like, wait a second, how is he? And the other thing, this is what I brought up before, where, one moment he's like, I'm attached to you, you're attached to me. Let's make the best of this. We're gonna bring our species here to kill everyone on this planet, and if you work with me, maybe you'll survive. And you're like, oh shit,
Yeah.
this Venom thing is bad. And then 20 minutes later, he's like, I'm helping you, Eddie.
Well, and
You've changed my mind.
yeah, they did
It's
vaguely address that, where they're like, "What made you change?" And he's like, "You did." And I'm like, there needs to be so much more than that.
There needs to be so much more. Why did this loser? I guess I get it because he's mentioned that before. He's like, I'm a loser, you're a loser. But why did this guy, what did he do to make him change? What did he see in the world to make him change? This is where also Spider-Man would have really come great into play.
Yes, I agree wholeheartedly.
Yeah, Spider-Man throughout this whole thing would have become great. And every time I saw Venom, I thought, that looks so cool. This looks like the Venom I've always wanted to see. But there's that one asterisk. It doesn't have the spider on the
Well,
chest.
and here's the thing, I'm okay with that. Like, that never bothered me.
It's still, it's every time I saw it, I thought they got everything right with the look of Venom. And that sucks that spider's not there.
Didn't bother
So who
me.
knows? They could always fix that later, and if they tie it in, he'd be like, "Oh, you just see Spider-Man," and be like, "All right, boom." That'd be a funny scene where he's like, "I'm a hero," and he puts a spider on his chest.
Well, and here's the thing: the way they've set that up, that would work. They would
It
be
would,
like, because somebody would be like, "Well, it looks like Spider-Man." Oh, they keep saying we're like Spider-Man, and it's like, yeah, well, yeah, Spider-Man's a hero. He's a good guy, and good guys look like this. And just
Yep.
there's the logo, and just have Eddie look down, just be like, really?
Yeah. And Venom's
that's
kind
what
of
you got?
he
Like,
he feels like a dumb, fun kind of
yeah,
like he's and that's what I mean is that there's a turn from him being like straight up evil to like, hey, you're kind of cool. Let's be friends. Let's be BFFs.
yeah, and it's not
As
really earned.
no,
It's not.
it's not. It's like, wait, you were just ready to take over the planet and shit. But yeah, so yeah, Venom was kind of lovable at the end of it. He's just this thing that's a part of him, and so
It's very much, God. Here's an analogy for you. This movie is like the first How to Train Your Dragon.
I barely remember that.
Well, I'll give you a primer. What's the giant because in the first one, like, they rank the dragons,
Okay.
and they kind of drop that a little later on because, yeah, it was stupid. But the thing that Toothless is a Night Fury, and they're pure evil. They're death and darkness and nighttime. And then Hiccup shoots one down, and he wounds him, and he's still like, I hate you because you hurt me, blah blah blah. And by the end of the movie, as we all know, they're best buds. And
Yeah.
Toothless has gone from being, silent, speedy, flaming death to, oh, he looks like a cat who fell on its head, and he's
Yeah.
adorable.
Exactly.
I kept thinking that, like, when you're talking about, like, he goes from evil to, like, hey, here's a goofy thing you kind of have to enjoy. It's
Yeah.
it's How to Train Your Dragon all over again.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right.
It's
Now that I know that, you're absolutely right.
It's the same kind of thing. And it's just, it's so weird.
Yeah. Yeah. He's just this dumb, goofy, lovable thing at the end, and so it's kind
Uh,
of cool. Like now, like the googly eyes Venom meme is super hilarious.
Yeah,
Seeing the
oh
movie.
god, so much, even more so now. Oh my god, so much.
Yeah, because that's kind of what he is, and that's awesome. That I think that's really cool, and
Yeah, that's, again, not to take anything away from it. I love what they wound up doing with him.
yeah,
But it's just like, it doesn't feel earned by the end of it. Like, there's
right.
not enough movie there to justify that.
I did not like the in-fight scene with the two Venoms and all. Like, it almost got to the point where I'm like, I can't tell what's going on.
Exactly. Yeah, because they're the same color. They were practically the same thing. And I was
Yeah,
like, that was part of why in the comics they're all wildly different colors, is so
yes.
that doesn't happen.
Yeah, and I don't want that for the next one. Him and Carnage, I want them to be solid things that, like, I want Carnage and then what is his name, Toxin, right? Or Riot?
Right.
What's his name? When Riot does the axe thing, which is super Carnage, basically,
Yeah.
like that's totally Carnage's thing.
Yeah.
Like I want more of that, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
I
totally.
I thought it was the fight scenes were better earlier on. I thought it was cool when Venom's like, why don't let's go up? Why don't we just go up? And when he kind of does the spider web thingy when he's trying to go from place to place and it grapples on. I liked how it was like little tiny hands
Yeah.
grabbing onto stuff. Like that was super cool. And he busts into the room and like suddenly the Venom comes out and protects him from the bullets. Like all of that was super cool to show
And
like what he's.
that was very Spawn. And I love
Yeah.
that. Like that was definitely a flat out McFarlane reference.
Yes, yeah, and I thought that was cool. I want more of that, more solid. Carnage is kind of all over the place, but
Yeah, Carnage is wild and untamed and just
yeah,
chaos. And that one should be more like that for sure, but
right. I felt like they went with Riot. They were like, look, they put too much Carnage into it.
yeah.
And he was just his whole thing was like, I just want to leave the planet. I want to get on this rocket ship. And the whole time I'm rolling my eyes, like, wait, what's going on? This guy who's basically Musk is suddenly able to just jump into a rocket ship and get all these people on board to get him to go. It's just like, wait, what? Um,
Yeah.
all of that was done in like 30 minutes. Like it was just too fast. And this one man operation and that I just do not like the bad guy in this movie. It was to me one of the worst, and I don't know. It was just super cheesy. Like he was just so evil with everything he said. But I don't know. All of this, it sounds so negative, but I actually enjoyed the movie.
And that's the thing, like we critique because we care. We're not just like,
Yeah,
oh well this sucked and that sucked. We're like, no, here are some specific issues that we had because this was a fun movie.
yeah,
It was an enjoyable fun movie, but the problems and there are problems that should be fixed, but it's 2018.
yeah.
We should not be having the same problem. We shouldn't have a villain who's practically twirling his mustache anymore.
Yeah, like it was just
And
so.
yeah,
Well, get me the another one. I don't care.
yeah.
Like,
And expecting to be taken seriously. You can do that if he's comically over the top. Sure. Go for it. But this guy wasn't. Like
talking about Jacob and Isaac and just oh God.
ay, ay, ay.
And all the scientists, the no-name scientists standing around with their pencils, and it was just so like, who wrote this? This is
Yeah.
like you said, it was the old Batman films. I don't know. It's just, and I don't know. I just didn't. Ugh, yeah, I don't know. Hopefully they just fix up some of the dialogue in the next one, but we're definitely going to be there, seeing the next one. So
Oh
it
yeah.
looks like it's doing good in the theater. So I want to see him in the MCU though. I want to see Venom pop up and just how fucking gnarly that would be.
It would
Him,
it would fit. The version that they have would fit in the MCU, no changes required.
yes, yeah. Like I could totally see Spider-Man being freaked out in every scene with him, but then someone like Drax being just like, this is awesome.
Well, and Rocket, like you talked about with
Yes.
Rocket, and it would go both ways.
Yeah.
Like Venom would bite somebody's head off and Rocket would just go, "I like him."
Yes,
And
exactly.
then turn around and Rocket would blow up a mining facility or something just to say like, well, they made fun of my face. And you could
Yes.
have Venom inside just go, I like him.
Yep.
Like it'd be the same
Yes.
thing.
Exactly.
It would totally work both ways. And Drax, because how many times Eddie would stand there arguing with Venom and Drax would just go, why do you keep talking to yourself?
Yep. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely. And I could see Rocket being like, I want that suit.
Yeah.
But I want one of those. And imagine Venom getting on one of those other characters in the movie.
Well, we've
Yeah.
seen Venom Rocket in the comic books, and it's
Yep.
terrifying.
Absolutely. So hopefully Sony and Disney play nice and allow that, because that would be really cool. So yeah, not bad, not bad, out of the gate for Venom. Of course some critiques, but definitely had
It
fun.
exceeded expectations. I'm very
It,
happy about that.
absolutely, absolutely, yeah. Let's talk about The Haunting of Hill House. What did you think of
And
this?
you saw it the whole way through, right?
I saw the whole thing. Did you?
Yeah, yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Um, damn, this was a creepy show
Yeah.
because it was, and it tells you what it's about right at the start, and I forgot about that for a long time when the one kid goes, "What exactly is a ghost?" and he
Yeah.
explains what he perceives as ghosts. And that's what the show's about. It's not about this was an evil house. Yeah, that's kind of what it comes back to. But it's more about, the fears and terrors of people. Why did the mom go crazy? Well, she was terrified for her children. Why, why is the dad haunted by the mom? Because he doesn't know how to do this without her. Why, all these people's ghosts are their own biggest fears.
Yeah.
And it's incredible. Why, when the brother finally sees a ghost, it's his sister. And why? Because that's what he's most terrified of failing her, because she was the most vulnerable of them, and he felt responsible, and he failed. And he can't be a failure. He was a failure for so long, and then when he finally got off the ground, he didn't want to go back to that. And he was so terrified of failure that when he failed on the biggest level you can, that became his ghost.
Yeah.
That to me, like, that's what this show is about.
Yeah.
And it's, I mean, yeah, it plays with the idea of, oh yeah, they're also actually a haunted family, but it's done in such a tremendous way. And the funeral home episode, which was basically 3 scenes for that entire episode. I mean, we
Yeah.
talk about Daredevil having some long tracking shots.
Hmm.
That was just masterful work.
Yeah. It was
It
like
was,
the 6th episode, right? Yeah. It
yeah,
was. That was something special.
it
I
was,
watched the first 5 episodes probably 2 or 3 times because I was watching it with other people,
yeah,
getting them into it. It's like, oh, you haven't seen this? Well, let's start it over.
yeah.
And then, yeah, starting from the 6 on, I watched. That was so good.
And it changes tack. That's what's great, is there is a distinct first half, second half. Without ending something, like Luke Cage had a very distinct one, but because it ended one story and started another. This one shifts once they have the wake. And you can see it throughout that episode, because now the dad's here and everybody's here, and now we see where this has to go. That 6th episode is just a magnificent transition from top to bottom, and it's so damn good. Like, it is an impressive piece of television.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I see they're doing a 2nd season.
Oh, it's not surprising. It's a little
Yep.
disappointing, but not surprising.
Yep.
I,
Oh,
I
yeah.
I don't know. I get it, because this is a huge success. We have to do another one, but like, take this success and take those people and use them for something else.
Yeah.
Don't do more of the same thing. Because it told the story. Like, that story's over. That's another one, like 13 Reasons Why. I may not watch a second season, because as far as I'm concerned, that story's done. It's wrapped
Yeah.
up. It's finished. It's over.
No, I agree.
I don't need to know anymore. I loved. Now, I'm sure you've read about the proposed alternate ending.
No, no. Tell me about it.
They scrapped it on the day they were going to shoot it. They were originally, like, they were going to have, like, his sobriety party at the end of, like, at the very end of it, and everybody's gathered around the cake and everybody's having fun. They were going to have the window from the Red Room in the background and
Oh.
make you think, like, oh, they never actually got out of there.
Yeah.
And on the day, the director and the showrunner just kind of looked at it and was like, we can't do that. Like, these people have actually been through hell and conquered it. Like, we have to let them have this.
Yeah.
It was, yeah, I was like, oh, because that would have sucked. God, I
Yeah.
would have hated that so much.
That would have sucked.
but I like what they did, and I absolutely loved what they did with the bent neck lady.
Yes.
I didn't see that
Oh,
coming
yeah.
at all, because I was like, okay, who is this? Who is this? And then when we finally find out who it is, you're like, oh, that's frightening. Oh, that is horrifying. Like, that was.
Yeah.
And to see, like, of course, when does she show up? At all of the worst possible moments. And
Right.
it's one of those things that makes sense in hindsight, that they planned from the absolute very beginning. And holy cow, was that well done. Like, that whole series is so superbly executed.
Right. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, that was probably my favorite part about it was her story
Yeah.
and with the bent neck lady.
Oh, it's just cut. And you watch and you just, I'm glad that and because I can't remember his name, man, the one who struggled with addiction. I'm glad that he made it like that.
Yeah.
I feel like that kind of would have been cheap if they'd gotten rid of him too.
Yeah. No, I
Uh,
agree.
because he like his was definitely the hardest story, and he earned the redemption
Yeah.
more than any of them. Um, and of course Theo was just badass throughout. Like she took no crap from anybody.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, that was I love just how dynamic all the characters were,
Yeah, and
how different they were.
once they got out of the house, most of them went on to do all these other things, and I mean even the youngest, like she made a life, and then when her husband dies of an aneurysm, like she's seeing the ghost again,
Yeah.
and like we said, you find out later on that it's not the ghost isn't the cause, it's her reaction. It's her own personal haunting going back through and manifesting itself in like that kind of weird paranormal haunting, like just a cruel irony. Like that's one of the cruelest ironies I've seen in anything in a very long time. Um,
Oh yeah.
but it's executed again so perfectly. Like it is creepy the whole way through, and by the end of it, like every story beat is earned, everything is deserved, and everything makes sense. The time jumps back and forth work so well with the story. They don't mirror it in a way that looks lazy, and they're not stuck together in a way that feels forced. It's just it's tremendous from beginning to end. It really is.
Oh yeah. Yeah, man, I agree. Yeah, I couldn't have said it better. It's one of my favorite from Netflix. Uh, yeah, it blew me away from beginning to end. There was no episode that I thought was filler. It was just from beginning to end great.
Now there's no wasted time, no wasted motion. Everything fits.
Yeah.
Um, and it's so good.
Oh yeah. What have you seen any of Titans?
I watched the first episode, and I was like,
Uh,
okay, this is a thing. I'll watch more of it eventually because I'm interested, at least for now. Um, I'm not crazy about the amnesiac Starfire.
yeah.
I didn't like that setup, but you know, whatever. Um, Nightwing's story looks interesting.
Yeah.
Um, his definitely seems like the one with the most sort of personal ramifications. Um, because I'm not totally invested with Raven yet. Um,
Yeah.
I get it, like knowing a little from the comics, tells you like, oh, I see where this is gonna go, kind of in broad strokes. Um, I was a little shocked they killed her mom. Uh,
Yeah.
that 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 genuinely did surprise me. Um, but I don't know. Like I said, I'll watch more of it. It was interesting enough to keep my attention for the time being, at least. And it's worth trying. So I'll watch some more of it and see how it goes. Uh,
Oh.
Beast Boy just looks like a goof.
Yeah.
So I'm just like I'm not real sold on him yet. But we only
Yeah.
see a very little bit of him. So
Yeah. I watched the first 3 episodes. It gets better.
okay, well that's good.
Yeah, it gets much better, but it's still super cheeseball.
I'm okay with cheesy. It just
Yeah.
I just need to feel like at least it connects at least with itself at some point.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, and that's the thing is like it's not really a big of a spoiler, but they start to sort of connect in 3.
yeah,
They're all over the place in the first one and the second one. Starfire, I don't know. I don't know much about her character, but I'm interested in finding out. But yeah, the big focus is Raven and Dick. And it's interesting how it all kind of comes together. But it just to me, the first episode especially just feels like this was made for YouTube or
Yeah,
something.
yeah, it really does.
Yeah, yeah. Um, let's see here. Well, yeah. So I mean, you haven't really seen much of Titans, and I just don't like how it's every week now. I wish it was all just dropped at once.
Yeah, well, they've
That's
got to
good.
space this out, so
Yeah. Oh yeah.
because they don't have
Um,
anything new coming out for months.
exactly. Yeah. So what do we got with Doctor Who?
I've seen the first 2 episodes of Doctor Who, and it is a fantastic jumping on point. If you're somebody who's never watched or you haven't watched in a long time and you don't want to go through all of the however many seasons we're up to now, you can absolutely start here. Jodie is tremendous. I love her doctor. She has the spirit. She has the essence of what makes it the doctor. I like the companions. They're an odd little collective, and that also helps. Um, Seeing her have to build her own sonic screwdriver was a great touch in the pilot.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
yeah, because it's like, oh, I don't have one. Where am I going to find one? Well, she doesn't have the TARDIS at first either, because it kind of disappeared on her, as it has done in previous regenerations. But that was always where the Sonic came from, at least in the last handful. It's like, oh, and here's a new one. Um, she had to kind of make her own, so
Oh, okay.
it's got a ton of character to it just by itself. It's a great design, um, and it works. It's really really good. And anybody who had any legitimate worries, beyond, well, it's a woman, shut up, but had any like story concerns with a new showrunner, because Moffat's not doing it anymore. It's a whole new showrunner and a lot of new crew. So anybody who had any worries about like what's it gonna do, it's great. It's fantastic. And if you're a lapsed Tuvian, or if you're looking for a place to start, this is it for sure.
Yeah. Damn, I need to jump in. There's just too much going on.
Yeah, yeah, and you can absolutely just start here. You're not missing anything. You know the basics. That's all you need. Like
Yeah.
it's no, I love it. It's so good.
Yeah. Um, let's see, Daredevil. So,
Where where are you on Daredevil? Like, what was the last thing that happened?
okay. Trying to think here. Um, so Bullseye was dressed up in Daredevil outfit and killed a bunch of people.
Okay.
So he like pretended to be Daredevil, and I think I'm maybe the episode past that,
Okay.
an episode or two past that. I'm not. I'm trying to think because it's been a few days. Um, yeah, no, I remember him. Yeah, I think I'm maybe like an episode past that because
Okay.
he's in hiding. The Bullseye dude.
Right.
And that's where I'm at. Yeah,
Okay.
basically. Last I can
So you
remember.
haven't gotten to the big reveal yet. Okay.
Right, right. Oh, there's a big reveal. See, I don't know.
Okay. See, that's all I need to know. It's like, okay, so now I know where you're not. So
Yeah.
I'm good with that. Um yeah, it's God, this season is so great. I will say this, and this, there are, you were talking about like you missed having a Punisher or an Elektra. You don't get one of them,
Mhm.
and I think that helps the season. Like you're not
Yeah.
worried about setting up. You've got your heroes and your villains, and there's nothing like, oh, we could spin off this person or that person. No, no, it's focused on this story,
Yeah.
and it's so good, and it is personal. You were talking about that, and the way I love how they make it personal for everybody. For Foggy, it's personal. For Karen, it's personal. God, the episode that they do just on Karen is so good. It's so damn good. Um, of course, for Matt, it's personal through the whole thing, and it gets more personal. For Fisk, it's personal. It's this whole thing starts because of how personal it is for Fisk. And then for Dex, it's personal. For Agent Nadim, it's personal. Like
Yeah.
that's it. That whole season, everybody has a legitimate, interesting personal stake in this in this story. And that's what makes this so good.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I've been loving it. Yeah, and man, I don't know what to say. You nail it.
It's just it's so good. And it'll be great. We'll talk more about that. Hopefully you finish it by next week because you don't have too much farther to go. It's only I think it's just 13 episodes. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
because I'm at the part where he does talk to Nadim, and he's like, "Hey, that wasn't me, obviously."
Yeah.
But I forget. Yeah, I need to look. I need to go back and see where I'm at because the last big thing I remember, of course, when he dresses up as Daredevil, and then everyone just gets their ass kicked.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it's really good. It's really good. Yeah, so I don't know what the big reveal is, so I'm interested in that.
Yeah. You gotta watch because I figure you're what, like episode 6 or 7 by now. I
Yeah,
think.
yeah.
Yeah, I think you've got maybe one more before the big like. Now, for comics people, it's not. It's like, oh yeah, I knew that. But the
Yeah.
way it's done in the show, it's like there's this momentary lapse of something, and you're like, oh, so this is how this happens. It's good. I won't say any more about it. It's so good.
Yeah.
But it does. The whole theme of this season is how personal everything is.
Yeah.
And the last, God, that finale. That finale is just, it's so good.
Yeah, I'm excited.
How about that prison scene?
Oh yeah, that riot was awesome.
God, because this was the show that really set the bar for that with that fight back in season 1.
Yes.
And now they have topped themselves. That prison riot was ridiculous.
Jesus. It was crazy.
Cow.
And he gets in the cab at the end, and it's just like, oh my god. Yeah, they top themselves every year.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's so good. But yeah, man. So yeah, I need to catch up on Daredevil.
Definitely, yeah, you definitely finish that because it's so good.
And same with Sabrina. What did you think of Sabrina?
I loved it.
Yeah.
It's properly creepy. Like, it's not trying to be a scary show. It's just like, hey, look, we dabble in dark forces. On a personal level, I am kind of bummed with the whole, like, oh, we're witches, so of course we worship Satan. I'm like, God, are we still doing this? Really?
Yeah.
All right, fine, whatever. And I've just kind of put that aside. I'm like, okay, we're gonna do this, whatever. But past that, I really don't have any complaints. Every character is so well-rounded. And especially as you go along further, anybody who doesn't think that Ambrose is like everybody's idea character of just like, yeah, I sit around the house all day and gossip, like that's like, I mean, come on. But every character on that show is so good.
Yeah.
How far through are you? Have you started watching it?
Yeah, I the last thing I saw was she does not go through with the birthday thing.
Okay.
On Halloween. And then they chase her back to her house, and then they can't go any further.
Except they totally could.
Yeah. The guy's like, yeah, I just made that up or something.
Yeah.
Now, what's the deal? Cause I need to rewatch the first episode. What's the deal with that guy? Is he part of their family?
Yeah, he's their cousin. He is a Spellman. Yeah.
And is he? He's only in the house.
Yeah, they explain that later on. That comes later.
Okay. Because I knew, I need to rewatch because it was one of those things. I was watching it with someone and we just talked the whole time through the first episode.
Yeah.
I treated it like a Riverdale, so I just talked the whole time and I catch a lot of it.
Yeah, you missed a lot.
Yeah. But yeah, so far I'm loving it. I love the theme of it. It's very spooky, very Halloween. It's kind of perfect for this season. And I really like it. I like it. It's got its cheeseball, but it's also got the super creepy moments.
Yeah. I will say this though, the one thing that bums me out, and it's mildly spoilerish, but the problem with it is you'll forget about it by the time the season's over.
Yeah.
The dead kid.
The dead kid.
Yeah, they've brought in the body by
Oh
now,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
see. I don't know what's going on with that body. I just know like a witch has touched him or something.
Well, he was a witch.
Oh, he was a witch. That's right. He's got the mark.
Yeah, and he's dead. And they're like, oh, that must mean witch hunters. Be prepared. They do not resolve that this season.
Oh wow.
That's just kind of a hanging plot thread, and it's a bummer, and especially because they don't touch on it a lot through the season.
Yeah.
And that bothers me. But I guess that's something they'll pick up next season. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, they don't. They have developments on it throughout the season, but nothing. It's just more mystery.
Yeah.
But it's in the background, so it's not a big. It doesn't really detract, which I guess is a good thing.
Okay.
But
how many episodes is there? Is there 8 or 13?
10.
10. Okay, gotcha.
10 episodes.
Yeah.
Was a little
All right.
surprised they didn't go with 13, but
yeah,
but
yeah,
no,
it would make more sense.
yeah.
But
no, they left it at 10, and it's good. And the ending, I love the ending. I enjoyed the ending, and I am furious about the ending all at the same time.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, finish that and finish Daredevil because we gotta really talk about them.
Yeah, yeah, I will probably in the next week or so. It's just so busy, but hopefully next week when we talk, I'll have it finished.
Yeah,
one of them at least.
That's fair.
Yeah, but all right, dude. Well, we'll be back next week. Make sure you go to our Facebook group, We Geek Podcast, our Gmail, email us, wegeekpodcast@gmail.com, our YouTube channel, We Geek Podcast, Twitter at We Geek Podcast, at The Logan Witt, at Adam Estep. And we'll come back next week with our 20 games that we would add to the PS2 Classic. We'll each probably have our own list there. And yeah, man, I'll see you next week, Captain.
Captain.